Peace, 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 peace. Peace, love, and light to your brother. Everybody that's in the building, man. You already know what's going on. Shout out to the brothers and sisters. It's your brother, Aboriginal Power. You already know the vibes. We got another fire show for you guys, man. Hey, shout out to Tariq Nasheed for bringing this heat, man. To giving me the ability to conversate on some of these tethered conversations. I think it's highly important for us to get into some of these conversations. So, hey, let's get into it. Shit.
More blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on the boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. Aboriginal, Aboriginal. I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on the boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. On us Aboriginal, Aboriginals. For generations I've been free getting paid. My predecessor was a prince, not a slave. Gold dripping all through my DNA. No, we don't play. No, we don't play. Young royalty, top of my game. More than a king. I'm a god in my reign. Don't need a throne. Don't need no rings. Don't need no hoes, and I don't need no change. I got diamonds shining in my iris. Yeah, I pop a cap to me, turn around. Yeah, been cultivating all these crappy honest. Yeah, could give a fuck about it, Tatiana. Yeah. But I'm still counting blue faces. All my bills paid, living in my truth, babe. 2020, I'ma cut the cool, baby. Drop the top down, blowing out the roof lately. I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. Aboriginal. I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. On us Aboriginal, Aboriginals. I might lie you for my lineage. Ain't for the drama, my mind don't count them dividends. Yeah, I'm a wizard with a wicked witch. Leave your name on the altar, then they gon' deal with it. Yeah, maybe flush it in the drain. Memorials made for your name. Bet you won't disrespect the gang. Take all that gas right out your tank. I'ma pop up in your dreams. Freddy Krueger with the Ruger right on me. Big shark, you some tuna in the sea. Picking all your flesh on my teeth. Yeah, I can smell the blood in the water. Sharpening my sword to get ready for the slaughter. Neck to the guillotine, then I off it. Price to the wall, you might end up in a coffin. I got more blood in my body than you know. But my bloodline wasn't trapped on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. Aboriginal, Aboriginal. I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. On us Aboriginal, Aboriginals.
I clear my throat, the microphone I'm hopping on. I tell the truth, I'm copper tone, this is my home. They feed us lies, they took lives, they fucking stole. But I ain't dwelling on it. I just remember, I just want you to know. I'm a reincarnated soul. We ain't come on no boat, man, we been here. Aim with a beam. Yo, man, been here. Said he cold, heat him with the toast, no biscuit. I'm building mountains, nation building, that's Washington. Ask me how I know. These psychedelics I'm consuming. Sacred plants, they told me so. Ancestors tell stories when I consult the altar. Florida water for all the ones that's falling to my baby mama. I love you with all of my heart. We raised a tribe, we built it right. We set for generations and got land rights. Trust we locked down.
I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. Aboriginal, Aboriginal. I got more blood in my body than you know. No, my bloodline wasn't trapped up on a boat. No, I cannot buy none of them stories that they told. On us Aboriginal, Aboriginals.
Salute, man. Salute to the real ones in the building, man. Make sure y'all smack that like button. Give the video a thumb up if you support the movement. We're on code. This is your brother Aboriginal Power. We got a lot of heat to get into. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys go subscribe. All right. Salute to the real ones. Make sure y'all getting us a share on one of your social media outlets. No matter if it's Twitter, TikTok, whatever the case may be. But let's go. Let's continue.
Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? I got into my Uber, what did I see? It was a dusty, musty tether, smelling like cheetah pee. Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? I got into my Uber, what did I see? It was a dusty, musty tether, smelling like cheetah pee. Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? I got into my Uber, what did I see? It was a dusty, musty tether, smelling like cheetah pee. Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to? Musty tether, yes, I'm speaking to you. Musty tether, where you fleeing to?
Whatever it takes, the alleyway. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Pride before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Pride before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Pride before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Bring my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Lie better, little baby, but lie better. You playing the other side on God out. Trendsetter, no talking, I did better. They watching my moves, playing my moves. I didn't let up, I kept it aside. Niggas get shifty, I did something, I'm moving around. Gotta get to it, this bread, something they want me to drown. Remember they told me I was nothing, I've been through some things. On God, baby, I can't front it. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Pride before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Pride before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Pride before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Bring my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Do better, you say that you do better. These niggas playing at 50, I really got moved better. I got these on my block, I can't play round. I position one my life, I can't play round. We gon' get it back in blood if they stay round. Know them niggas off the drugs, they gon' lay down. I was love, you put me right in the middle. Got niggas that screaming gang and niggas that wanna kill you. They got feelings from the past, pay attention. They only sending shots cause these niggas want attention. Won't be no R.I.P. heli intervention. Put threats on my name, make me turn them to a pension. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Proud before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Proud before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Proud before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly.
Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Where the squad at? Where is the squad? Grand Rising, happy wake and bake. Shout out to everybody, man. Like I said, I'm enjoying the vacation, man. I've been out on in the Northeast. We up in the Jersey area today. We just been hitting a few tourist attractions, a few museums, visited family, enjoying the vacation. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed your 4th of July. Hopefully you guys got to enjoy the lie that the Jews told. 4 Extra blew his hand off yesterday. I did see that. That's diabolical. I got to talk about that within a whole nother show. Damn. Was 607 Unc right when he said he shouldn't have touched him? He gonna lose his hand. I'm gonna play that clip where 607 Unc said he gonna lose his hand for touching me. Damn. 607 Unc might know something. 607 Unc might know something. Shout out to the family in the building, man. Y'all see the title. Y'all see what's going on. Angry Tether gets roasted by FBA brothers and sisters. So, hey, if y'all ready to get into it, all y'all got to do is smack that like button, thumb up the video, and support the channel. Let's get into it and drop those fire emojis. Let's go.
They create, like companies, like they kind of organize it. That's what I was trying to say.
They organize, like who? Give me some examples of who are these immigrant groups organized.
Like African immigrants, Asians and white people and all groups.
So what are they doing that we're not doing? You haven't explained that. What are these immigrants? Okay, let's say some Ethiopians over here. What are they doing that we haven't done?
Yeah, they do. Like they start businesses. They hire like their people and like create jobs for themselves too. That's what I'm talking about.
You do know we do have black businesses, right? We have black businesses. We've always had black businesses. Do you think what makes you think we don't have black businesses?
You do have a business, but like you are like a large community, but like it's not that like compared to immigrants, like African immigrants, Asians, they all like doing better than you guys.
Really? Where? How?
So come on. He said that all Africans are doing better than us. Okay. How many of you guys agree with the Africans are doing better than us Black Americans, Aboriginal Americans? Well, let's just break down and do a simple comparison. Are y'all with me, family? Can we do a simple comparison in the building? Let's take Black Americans, lower class, and compare it to African lower class. Who's doing better? Let's break this shit all the way down, family. This shouldn't even be hard. Let's break this shit all the way down. When you take the Aboriginal / FBA Americans lower class, you put it up against the Africans lower class, we overshine them by a mile. When you put the Aboriginal / FBA middle class up against the African middle class, we outshine. We're doing tremendously better. When you put the Aboriginal / FBA upper society, upper class, next to the African upper class, we outshine them by a mile. We outdo them by a mile. We're out circumventing by a mile. We're more revered. We're more influential. We're more millionaires at that higher class. So on every level, we outdo you guys. So what are you doing better than us? That's what I'm not understanding. Let's get into it.
Like African immigrants, Asians, they all like doing better than you guys.
Really? Where? How?
Like look at the numbers, look at the numbers, statistics,
Okay, tell me. Okay, I'm doing better than us. How? What Africans are doing better than us? Oh, here.
Name one group.
Like the Nigerians, the Ethiopians, the Somalians.
Okay, where are the Nigerian wealthy?
Where's the Nigerian wealthy communities? Where's the Nigerian wealthy communities? Like you got black rich communities, rich white communities. Where's the wealthy Nigerian community? And let's be clear, Nigerians seem wealthy when they come around places like Atlanta and they do a lot of fraudulent bank scams that they were brought over here from their homeland. Nigerians internationally, and this is from any bank, from any country, knows when you get a letter of recommendation or approval or anything coming from a Nigerian bank, even some of their national banks are considered red flag. Even their main banks are considered red flag based off the alarming amounts of scamming that goes on in Nigeria. I want to tell you something else that Nigerians do quite better than black Americans. They poop in the street. Yes, you heard it right, family. They doo-doo in the street. They have one of the largest open public defecation problems in the world. Ranked like 4th to India. In India, the whole entire country is a toilet. So that speaks volumes. Over 20 million Nigerians practice public defecation. Can we talk about that?
Better than us? How? What Africans are doing better than us over here?
Like the Nigerians, the Ethiopians, the Somalians.
Okay, where are the Nigerian wealthy neighborhoods in America?
Like they're doing all kind of businesses though.
Crickets.
Like, where are the? Okay, sir, I'm asking you. You said Nigeria, and I'm asking you, where are the Nigerian wealthy neighborhoods in America? Since they're doing so much better, where are the Nigerian neighborhoods?
Look.
Like I don't have like a specific neighborhood. Like
okay. Well, what are the Nigerian businesses? What are the Nigerian businesses that are doing so
they
much
all
better than us?
Aboriginal
You said it.
European
Now you gotta. If you say it, you have to show and prove. What are the Nigerian businesses?
Yeah. Then I have another question.
No. Don't do that. No, sir. You said something, and then when I asked you to elaborate, now you want to change the subject. So why did you say something that you knew was false? What you said was false. And then I'm asking you to elaborate on what you said. And now you want to change the subject.
No, I'm not changing. I don't know how.
Why did you say so much better? And then I said, okay, name the Nigerian areas. That's better. And name the damn Nigerian business.
See, they just like to talk. And this is another thing that you find these Africans and Caribbeans and a lot of these tethers doing is that they take away the credit that we have done, the accomplishments. They like to discredit us. Then when we talk about our accomplishments, they like to say that our accomplishments belong to them or someone else. And then another thing they like to do is to say that they work harder than us. You niggas is lazy. Lazy niggas. You lazy niggas. Stop arguing with the white men. And now they sitting here arguing with the white men.
I mean, like they kind of small in numbers, they kind of small in numbers, so I don't have like.
And it could be very easy to point out where they're doing better, right?
They're doing in like tech field, tech is, education.
Doing better how?
So,
okay, what's the Nigerian-owned tech companies then? God damn, it's crickets. Boy, you just be saying stuff and can't stand on nothing.
Where's the Nigerian diamond companies that set up in America? Where's the Nigerian jewelry companies, since y'all companies have nothing but diamond and resource? Where's the Nigerian jewelry outlets and companies that's ran strictly by Nigerians getting the processed diamonds and processing it themselves while they in America? Crickets. Where's the Nigerian cobalt distribution and restoration facilities in America where y'all making y'all TVs on hand now, using them? Y'all don't got none of that. Y'all just talk about what other people are stealing from y'all land. Or Nigeria is highly resource. We got cotton, we got vibranium, we got everything. You got everything besides a successful living, and you niggas is starving while billions of Chinese people and other Europeans is coming there, pillaging y'all land, giving y'all bags of rice for y'all to mine in y'all own land. Y'all mining cobalt, which is $1 trillion industry. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta understand that this is wild. What do y'all think about this, man? These niggas think we lazy.
Like, can I ask you another question? I don't have
Well,
to be
man, you
specific.
keep saying stuff and you can't stand on nothing. You ain't stand.
I have a question for yourself, just you, not the
Keep saying.
community.
See, not because you're talking in bad faith. If you say something, you have to say, okay, this is how I can prove what I just said. Every time I ask you to prove something, you keep changing the subject. Why are you doing that, sir? Now you're being deceptive.
But look at the statistics, though. Look at the numbers, though. Do you look at the numbers?
The numbers?
Yeah, the
What did the
statistics.
numbers
Yeah,
say? Tell me the numbers.
I can pull it. I can put it up on the Jumbotron.
No, you tell me. Just tell me the numbers. What are the numbers? And where are the numbers from? And what's the context of the numbers?
Okay, give me a second. Let me
No,
pull up.
no, don't do all. Let's just keep it. Just what number are you going to show? You don't have to show. Just tell me what numbers are you trying to tell me? Are you about to do the household income thing? That's the only numbers that y'all like to throw up. Household incomes. Is that what you're going to show me?
That also shows like how successful they are, right?
No, it doesn't. You're going to show household incomes, right?
I have another question for you. Let's move to
God
the next one.
damn, you can't stand on nothing.
Let me ask you another question
No.
for you, son.
Okay.
It's about you, though. It's about
Are
you.
you going to? Okay, thank you. This dude can't stand on nothing. Man, that's tethering right there. You say something. This is FBA family. This is why y'all should have been checking this bullshit a long time ago, family. These folks have been full of shit for decades, man. They've been just saying bullshit. You understand? And for some reason, we just sat there and let them say this shit. Nobody ever said, hey, man, why don't you prove what you said? We sat up and let these people spew this bullshit forever without checking them on it. And when you start checking them on it, it falls apart because it's horse crap. It's damn horse crap. You ain't doing better than nothing. What he was going to probably do is try to show them household incomes. That household incomes mean it's just a whole gang of niggas living in the house, working at Uber. That's what all that means. When they show that certain African immigrants have higher household incomes, that doesn't mean that they're doing better. That just means it's more niggas in the house. That's all it, literally, that's it. That's literally all it means. Foundational Black Americans, we have one or two household incomes. That's it. We as foundational Black Americans, we don't have a whole bunch of people living up under us. And we didn't stop that bullshit. We don't like it. Y'all know we like our space. We put out. Our kids got to go at 18. All right, find you something to do. We don't like a whole bunch of grown ass folks living up under us. No, we like our
Right. And these tethers, they don't give a fuck. They be having 50, 60 motherfucking family members in the house. That's tetherism 101. When you got 50 people living in a 3-bedroom house, 18 of them adults, 23 of them kids. That's crazy. That's crazy. We would never live like that. No, nigga, go out and live your life. Be another successful version of the family member. You know what I'm saying? Keep being influential because that's what's in our culture. You see what I'm saying?
we put out. Our kids got to go at 18. All right, find you something to do. We don't like a whole bunch of grown ass folks living up under us. No, we like our space. We did that shit in slavery, so we want all our space. They, on the other hand, be having 20, 40 niggas living in one apartment. So yeah, the household income is gonna look higher. You got 40 niggas up in there. Miss Kim, hop on in, Kim.
Hi, Tariq.
How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing well. Good evening. Wow. I had to come up to say something.
Yes, indeed. Kim, where you from, dear?
Oh, I think we spoke before. I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of sort of remember you. What part? Where are you from?
From straight up the Bay Area.
Where's your family from? 'Cause I'm just trying to jog my memory here.
Yeah. Okay. So, there's the South, Texas, Louisiana.
Okay.
And there's Georgia, South Carolina, New York.
Okay.
And then Kansas, Nebraska.
Okay. Oh man. So what's on your mind, dear?
Yeah, I feel that what's happening here is that we have a huge wave of immigrants and migrants who've come here. They're doing well. They think they're doing exceptionally well and better than Black Americans because they have a merchant mentality. They come to the States and they become merchants.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Listen, a lot of these immigrants come here, and like you said, they got a known stigma about them. What is the known stigma in the workforce about these immigrants? They work for extremely lower wages than Americans do. And so when they go take these jobs for $5, $7, that a Black American or Aboriginal American will have to get $18 to $25 for, they say we lazy because we don't want to work for $7. See, that's where this whole stigmatism come from. Not knowing we built this whole entire goddamn country brick by brick, blood, sweat, and tears, and it's still standing solid today. And you motherfuckers coming in thinking y'all doing something, and y'all work is cheap. Tether construction work, plumbing work, electrical work is shitty work. Guarantee it. You get a house built up from the ground up by some Hispanics. 9 times out of 10, the foundation is going to be warped and off balance within 2-3 years. Most of the framework is going to be coming out. Just the whole integrity of the household be weak. There's no real arts craftsmanship in it. There's no American pride built in it. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of tether tactics to build a house as quick as they can. So no, these people, that's why that stigma is on our people, because we don't want to work. We're not going to work for $6 an hour. You got to pay us, brother. And it's going to be high quality.
And their perception, what they see and read, is just completely off. I actually got into it with the gentleman today in a taxi cab. And I don't even want to go into the story. It actually pissed me off, but it's actually quite entertaining. But let me just say that we have in the United States, I would say since, I just pulled this up, in 2012, it was reported that there were 2.6 million African-American Black-owned businesses. And I think this guy's really mistaken. He needs to really do some history.
Oh, yeah.
Search history. You can pull up the U.S. Census Bureau.
Like Ben Yosef said in the chat right now, in the live chat, he said, listen, man, look at their houses now. They're falling apart right now as we speak. You absolutely right. These houses are definitely falling apart right now as we speak. They cut corners in every way they can within building a property. If they can pass it through code inspection, they're going to cut a corner and do it. I'm telling you, I worked around them. When all foreigners work the same, they're not like us Negro, Aboriginal American, FBA Americans. Even some of the rednecks even do their shit proper. They're unskilled labor, but they're hiring them for skilled labor work. They're unskilled labor getting hired for skilled labor work. You see what I'm saying? They known to go back and take a couple tuna cans and make them a whole house. A little 10-can house made out of tuna can and sardine cans. See, that's some MacGyver type stuff. We need real craftsmanship. Put it in the hands of a Aboriginal American, we get places like Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, which was designed by an Aboriginal FBA brother by the name of Benjamin Banneker. So we got to know when we touch something, it becomes golden. Once our hands is involved with the creation and the building, it becomes golden, family. Don't let these people who's used to using old, washed up plywood, tuna cans, sardine cans, and made a little house out of. That's not craftsmanship.
On survey of minorities, and you can actually go as far back as I think I went back to 1965, actually 1969.
Okay.
So I think the mistake that I see is that there are people that are coming to the States and they're setting up businesses. They are doing the HB1 visa course or not.
Yeah.
But they're also part of, like you said, they people are working together in cahoots within certain programs and they get sponsored. So they have a community, but they seem to be looking for, I don't know, some utopia of what they expect. It just baffles me. But yeah, I just had to come up and say that it's merchant mentality.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Hear you, and thanks again.
Thank you so much, beloved. Thank you, dear. All right, Rico Cage. What's up, Rico?
What's up, Mr. Tariq? I talked to you on the mic last time, I think like 8 months ago, like around last fall, but I haven't spoke to you since. So how you doing?
I'm good.
Good talking to you again.
What we talked about last time, Rico?
It was during, man, it was real late night. It was during like the political season and everything gearing up and stuff like that around that season. That it was in one of those spaces.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what's up?
I just wanted to get your opinion real quick. What do you think about immigrants pulling up, from different spots in the world to go through the, actual legal process? I live in a big city too, so I feel you, on like, the Uber jobs, this and that. But like go through the legal process and, get a trade or something and go that route. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I guess not live 40 deep in an apartment.
Yeah.
You feel me? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I think right now, I think we have to focus on citizens that are here because there's a lot of resources that our citizens need. I just don't, at this juncture, don't feel like we should be prioritizing our tax dollars for all of these other groups who are hostile right now. There's a war. We don't know who's over here now. We don't know if there's sleeper cells over here. What's going on, man? So we just gotta chill. Let's focus on the people here to make sure everybody is great. So that's my thing. America first. Let's focus on America right now. That's my vibe, Rico. Right?
No doubt. No doubt.
Thank you so much, Rico. I appreciate you. Oh, goodness. Let me get my brother EJ in the building. Brother EJ, hop on in. Brother EJ, where you at?
Done, because I got something really, I need to tell you something, because that dude right there is just another example of why these tethers don't need to be in the country.
Oh, where you at, EJ?
I'm still here. I don't know if Rico was done. I was going to wait till that brother was done.
Rico's done.
I don't know if he's done already.
Rico's.
Oh, okay. I'm here. I'm here, man. What's up?
What's on your mind, EJ?
Man, what's on my mind is that these tethers know what they be doing, but they come up here with the vitriol and the stupidity from their homelands, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. This dude came up here and tried to give us some false statistics, and he couldn't even look it up, let alone didn't even have the damn paperwork to come up and see that if he could step up to a G that was actually knowing what the hell he was talking about. Like, this is the problem with immigration in the country. You send people like that over here in the United States of America, and they have the same hatred and vitriol, not only for certain people within their homeland, but definitely the foundational Black American family. And I don't use that African American term no more because it always connects us with these people, and we already had an ethnogenesis. So I really don't like people saying that African American term. I just go by FBA or the Freedman term. Shout out to Brother Marcel. And the United States of America, this is y'all fault for letting these savages come over here and just y'all opening the floodgates when we in a time of almost going into another war. We in almost World War III. You know, you got these other countries waiting for America to make their choice, and we got to deal with musty cockroaches coming into our homeland talking real stupid. The delineation movement should have been done a long time ago. And I was trying to get up a couple of days ago when that Dominican came up here talking shit about me. I wasn't even gonna give that cockroach the time of day because once knowing you keep roasting them and hitting them with the flamethrower, it just get real tiresome. So, these do better watch out talking to me like that because I hit them with the bamboo stick. I'm liable to do something to them in the self-defense situation. But, Brother Tariq, that's all I really wanted to say, man. Hold your own nuts when it comes to these immigrant groups. Everybody got to get down and lay down for their crown. But that's all I got to say. Thank you, brother.
Much respect, brother. Yeah, old dude. Yeah, who was talking about people much better and all that stuff. Man, please. Where? Okay, show the neighborhoods. Where are the neighborhoods? Show all these prosperous neighborhoods, these African foreigners. Show the neighborhoods. I can show you Riverside Terrace in Texas and Houston. I can show you Prince George County out there in Maryland, all them prosperous Black folks. We can show you Baldwin Hills, Ladera Heights out here in LA, well-to-do Black areas. That's always been fly. We can show that. Yeah? Well, show me Bushmeatville. I mean, come on, show me something. Then when you ask them where those neighborhoods are, they start stuttering and stammering. All right. Well, can I ask you something else, nigga? Okay, no, don't ask me nothing until you answer that question. I don't want to hear all that bullshit. I don't want to hear that. Good freaking grief. Oh, man. RJ. Do y'all want to hear from RJ? Wait, let me get Average. Brother Average. Let's get Brother Average in the building. Let me get Brother Average and in here. Let me get both of them.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Brother Average, how you doing, fam? Oh,
I'm good, man. Thank you for letting me up. That dude that came up was incredibly just off. He always bite onto the white man's narrative and just regurgitate everything that they hear. And when you hit him up with that, when you hit him with that, just asking him questions to prove what he was saying, he wanted to go to that household income, that old adage. And it's like, man, I'm just full disclosure. I live next to some Mexicans. They've been there for like 7 years. House full of them, 5 cars, some of them parking in the line or whatever. Ain't their person moved out. That's a lot of them there. Mm-hmm. They don't move out. They just sitting here, and people be like, "Oh yeah, we doing better than you. We more successful than you." No, you're not, because more than anything else, you can never be more successful than people you got to eat off of. Ever. If you need me to eat, how are you going to put in my face you more successful? And then you're not anteing up. And then right now, we have this thing where they guilting us, and they sitting here asking for our help because we actually stand on something when we actually protest. They ain't got no demands or nothing. I mean, I'm out here in Southern California, seeing them in the streets waving the Mexican flag while saying, "Don't take me back to Mexico." It's the weirdest thing. And then on top of that, in addition to asking for our help and our assistance, they never speak up when one of their own is saying vile things. Ryan Garcia, who just knocked on his ass a few weeks ago, was out here saying, "I want to dig George Floyd up and bury that N-word again." They sitting there quiet as a church mouse, but then want to ask us for help. Never can check anybody on their end who says the most vile things. So it's just funny how everybody is obsessed over us, wants our help, talk shit to us or whatever, and thinks we're going to be some loyal mule to pull them up from their little shithole country.
I agree with the brother 1,000%.
Everybody looks like them over.
No bullshit.
My brother, man. Much respect to you, Av. Let's get RJ. Where you at, RJ?
What's up, Tariq? You good?
I am good, RJ. Boy, we got some of your fellow West Africans coming in talking a little crazy, and East Africans too. We had an East African hungry. So what's going on, man?
I'm good. I was gonna ask you. So, what do you think about that weak ass, pathetic parade that Trump threw for himself on his birthday?
I don't think one way or another about it. I didn't even watch it, to be honest, so I don't even think nothing of it.
A lot of people didn't watch it. A lot of people didn't watch it. Even Nick Fuentes is crashing out over Trump. Like he's dogging him, he's mocking him, he's saying he's trash. He doesn't even want a king. He doesn't even want fascism anymore because of how pathetic that parade was. I hope you're not still holding water because a lot of right wingers are, distancing themselves from Trump right now.
Right.
I hope there's no black.
They ain't got,
hope black
ain't got nothing to do with me.
Go on.
Yeah, you're preaching on deaf ears, sir. Your deaf ears. It had nothing to do with me. I'm not a right winger, and nor did I vote for Trump. So that's the point. Right?
And what about the No Kings? I heard you talking the No Kings protest. You know that the documents say, the statistics say that was like the largest protest like in American history.
Oh yeah, probably was. It is a nothing burger too, right? Ain't nobody even talking about it. That was a big ass nothing burger. That was
how was it a nothing burger if it was the biggest protest in American
wasn't
history?
That pep rally for the damn Democrats? That's all that was. That was a big ass pep rally for the next election. That was a nothing burger. It was corporately sponsored, media orchestrated. There was no arrest. Basically, that wasn't no real protest. That was a pep.
The back channels are saying Trump is pissed off that got more attention than his protest.
No. I mean, no. That it was a media-funded, corporate-funded pep rally. So yeah, that's why nobody's even talking.
Hey, if that's the case, then they did a pretty good job because it was the biggest protest in American history.
It means nothing, and it's a nothing.
Let's give it up to them.
It's a nothing burger. It don't mean nothing. It didn't have an impact culturally. What culture?
No, it shows that nobody has an appetite for Trump. Nobody wants him to be king.
It shows
that's
corporate money can orchestrate big ass pep rallies. That's all it is. It was a nothing burger because we weren't involved. Foundational Black Americans had nothing to do with it.
And it was still the biggest. And it was still the biggest protest. So what was it?
Yeah, a lot of people came out because they were paying people to come out, busing people out. It was a big pep rally that turned out to be a nothing burger.
That's bullshit because
what did it accomplish?
That's what right when you say about black protests too. Oh, George Soros is funding black protests. A protest is supposed to call attention.
Accomplish.
What did George Floyd protest accomplish?
Got that locked up. That's what that accomplished.
It
got old boy locked the hell up. It got some damn defunding of the police. It got a lot of folks up out of jail. It accomplished a lot.
It didn't defund anything, actually. The police didn't get defunded. If anything, to my chagrin. To my chagrin.
No, it defunded a lot of these police agencies. It got locked up. Oh, it accomplished a lot of stuff. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. What did this bullshit accomplish? Huh? Come on, RJ.
It put some egg on Trump's face that he's not a king. He's a dumbass. He's a dumbass, and no one's effing with it. No one's vibing with it. He has no aura.
They get to call Trump a dumbass. That's what that accomplished. So you got the largest protest in American history, and the most it accomplished was Trump gets called a dumbass. Okay, whoop-de-woo. All right. See how
it shows that no one's effing with Trump.
Things don't pop off when FBAs are not involved, when we ain't got nothing to do with it. It into a nothing burger. It was a big, massive nothing burger. That's all it was. Nothing. Ain't nobody even talking about it.
And it was still a big ass protest.
Nothing burger. It ain't nobody talking about it because there's nothing to talk about. It was a big, massive failure. It did.
How was it a failure when it was a massive protest?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Accomplish anything. That's the thing. It accomplished nothing.
It was a no kings protest saying we do not want Trump to be king. There was no real systemic, agenda to just saying
nothing burger, sir. Basically, that was them trying to get visual optics for the next election. That's all it is. They're going to use all of the optics for the next election in 20.
Oh, and it's going to work because Trump is doing
25 millions of people marched against the Trump. That's a pep rally. It's a pep rally for the Democrats. It's nothing burger. Nothing. And by the way, you should be more worried about those new African countries that's been added to the no-fly list.
Hey man, shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Make sure you hit that like button too, man. Hit that like button. Let's get into the next segment of the video. I'm gonna skip it up a little bit.
That's around the world were able to fight back and force our oppressors to give us equal rights under the Constitution. Now, granted, it's a continuing fight, and we still struggle with that to this day. But we've made a lot of progress, and that progress allows people who look like us, who are not us, to come over and pretend to be us to extract resources from shit we built, and they'll take it back home. And that's exactly what he made sure to let them know. Bring your resources. What resources will he be talking about? Do you know revenue? Because that's what this is really about.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part of the speech. I'm familiar with the speech you're talking about.
Bet you didn't. Well, anyway, look it up. He literally told them to bring back their resources. And I find it strange he says that at the same time he's taking millions of dollars from the Chinese right now, who are actually actively colonizing Jamaica through economic means. Did you know that right now? When time you been in Jamaica?
Like 2 years ago.
How much shit does the Chinese own out there, opposed to what they did in the 90s?
I know they kind of dominate the sugar factory and
tourism industry too. They're getting into that pretty heavy.
Vaguely, but they usually dominate the ports and the sugar factory, the sugar in the industry.
Traditionally speaking, hasn't the Caribbean been known for sugar canes?
Yeah, I kind of think it's embarrassing that the Chinese came over there and profited off what people enslaved doing. So I think that's kind of.
So I just think the Prime Minister of Jamaica should be more concerned with returning a traditional Jamaican industry back to Jamaicans instead of out of the hands of Chinese. But no, he found time to come in and make a threat to Black Americans.
Where did he make a threat about Black Americans verbatim? Because you're speaking about violation.
He made a threat to Americanize Jamaicans. Is how he put it. This is his words, not mine. Who come back and bring the crime with them. That means he's views people in America as criminals.
Why couldn't you look at it as maybe, you know what, you went to America, y'all committed crime. I don't want y'all to bring that same criminality that y'all went to America with and probably got deported because of it to bring it back to Jamaica.
Okay, I'll tell you why, because that's not what he said. He said what he meant. He said, he literally said it's not the same.
But you're speculating. You're not saying nothing he said verbatim. Like, you're bringing back Black American culture, anything like that. So I'm kind of. You sound like you're speculating and not speaking.
It's called an inference. It's called an inference. We can infer what he's talking about. He inferred heavily.
So you're speculating, basically.
No, it's an inference. It's called context clues. I mean, he can't come out outright and say that. But look at what he's saying. He's saying, right? It's not the same place you left 10 years ago. Well, how was Jamaica 10 years ago? Was it better in a better economic state?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know the crime rate was probably worse than it is now. The crime rate kind of went down.
Why would people want to leave Jamaica 10 years ago?
Because the crime, it was war going on between gangs and things like that going on in Kingston and different parts of Jamaica. So maybe he's referring to that.
So you think all the bad people left and that's why it got nice, or you think the government actually did some work?
I mean, a lot of the bad people left and came to America under refugee status. They went to Europe. They went to Canada under refugee status.
So it goes back into what Flex earlier. Y'all send the worst people over here.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's what you just said. That's what he just said. Am I tripping? Yeah. So it sounds like to me, you see, it's called a catch-22. It can't be both ways. It's either one way or another, right? Either y'all send all y'all bad people, or just assuming everybody come back as bad. So maybe he knows more about this than we know. Because if we knew they were bad people, America would have accepted them.
I mean, bad people did leave Jamaica, and they probably seek refugee.
They left Cuba too. Fidel Castro dumped all those people out in Cuba too. So either way it goes, so this literally goes back in what we've been saying the whole time. They don't say the best and their brightest, they send the criminals. I mean, if he's accusing them of being criminals and they were criminals, maybe he's right. to assume they was criminals. But I was thinking that maybe they just came over here. So I was actually giving them the benefit of the doubt. But now that I think about it, yeah, maybe he was right. Maybe it's a lot of criminals coming over here. So maybe deportation is probably the best thing for everybody, don't you think? So that way they can take all that hard work back to Jamaica and you know, wrestle, you know what I mean, the sugarcane industry back from the Chinese and keep them from getting a foothold in the tourist scene.
I think
Wouldn't that be the
deportation
best
probably
thing?
yeah. I mean, I think this FBA thing is probably gonna reach to a climax of violence. So I think it's best for Caribbeans and Africans to.
Why would it reach violence? It's not a
I
violence.
mean, the type of stuff Tariq promotes, it kind of promotes like like an undertone of
No,
violence. So before it reaches to that level,
What
maybe we
violence
should leave.
promoted?
what?
What violence promoted? This is fair talk right here. That man has not told nobody to go out and do nothing violent. All he
No, I
said
never
was
said I said the
There ain't
undertone.
no. What undertone?
there's no violent undertone. That's you make.
I'm saying if you're saying that tethers are taking FBA jobs and they taking their opportunities, and you know we don't like tethers and things like that, it kind of has like a a violent undertone. So I
Oh,
think
us protecting ourselves from your violence because y'all come over and you're acting violent towards us. We ain't saying that. We're not saying that whatsoever. Come on. And thank you for the call, Dan. Yeah, let me deal with this dude because now you talk bad talk. Yeah, nobody said anything about being violent to nobody, and there's no undertone. See, y'all project a lot of the violence that you have towards us. We don't have a version of the shower posse that we sent over to Jamaica, like y'all came over here. We don't do that. And by the way, people are pulling up some of your tweets, Revenue. What's your tweet talking about? You F your white bitch so good she almost said the N-word.
that's a Little Yachty lyric.
Oh, okay. So why are you quoting a little? Why do he had a lot of lyrics? Why'd you quote that one?
I thought it was funny.
Did it relate to you?
Nah, I don't mess with white girls. I just thought it was funny. It's a Little Yachty lyric that he did with the Detroit people. I forgot the name of the song. I thought it was funny. You could even copy and paste the lyric and you would see it pop up a bunch of times.
A lot
So
of quote lyrics that they kind of relate to. That's why they kind of quote random lyrics. It's not really a funny lyric. It's something that it kind of relates to. Like I might quote a lyric, feel so fresh and so clean because I feel fresh and clean that day. People usually tweet stuff or quote a lyric that relates to them. You know, when I
so Flex, you don't think that's funny?
and it's funny if you smashing a white.
It's your FBA little brother. I thought it was funny.
You smashing a white bra. She almost said the N-word. I don't know how funny that is. Another tweet you have, you was like, FBAs don't have a homeland like Japanese. You said y'all more like the Kurdish or Gypsies, people with no homeland. Really?
Yeah.
That's a projection. You're the one fleeing from left and right.
Wait, so I'm saying FBA is a nation just Kurds. They don't have a homeland. I think y'all deserve a homeland.
We do have a homeland. This is our homeland. Not only is we ain't like the gypsies. The gypsies, some of them are over in parts of Europe and certain countries. They didn't actually build those countries up. You understand? We actually were the ones who built this country up from the.
So are the Kurds don't build in Turkey, Iraq, and Syria, and these places? They build homeland different neighborhoods and stuff like that. So
no, I'm talking about building the infrastructure of the country itself.
So you think no Kurds was involved in building the industries in these places that I named, like Turkey?
No,
Iran, Iraq, Syria.
The Kurds, those nations have been around for a long time. The Kurds didn't build those nations.
So you don't agree with Elijah Muhammad that Black Americans need their own nation, their own sovereign nation?
This is our nation here.
Okay, if that's your perspective, some of your prominent FBAs will disagree with that. They believe they need.
How is this not our homeland and we built it from the ground up? I mean, literally built it. We constructed America from nothing into something. It was us doing that. How the hell is this not our homeland?
I mean, some will argue that, you know, that would, well,
Who?
I'm quoting Elijah Muhammad and some of the
Don't
other prominent
quote
figures
you.
that believe that Black Americans deserve their own homeland.
Well, this is our homeland here.
Okay, so you should just be a foundational American.
Yeah, but you said we're like the gypsies. The gypsies just kind of move around all over the place. Their initial homeland was Egypt, by the way. The gypsies, that's why they're called gypsies. Gypsies is a short word for Egyptians. That's where they originated from. So they just kind of nomaded all over the place. We ain't nothing like that. We don't nomad all over the place. That's you.
So you don't see no correlation between Black Americans and the Kurdish people?
That's you. Y'all nomad all over the place and squat all over the place. You run over to Britain, you run over to South America, you run over to Mexico, you come over here. That's you, sir. You're projecting.
Yeah, but we got a base. We got a base though. We got a country. We got a country. Though.
Never end. Exactly. The gypsies had a base, Egypt, and they ain't there, so they just nomad all over the place.
So if this is your homeland, this is your country. So you don't need various flags like the maroon flag that you got on your website, or the FBA flag, or the other 4 or 5 different flags that people.
You can do that. Now you're just changing the subject. Yeah, we give props to different parts of our lineage. Yeah, you do use different flags for different things within the culture. Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. We can use different flags for different things within the culture. Absolutely. Just like in the United States, different states have different flags within the United States. You understand? But you, sir, are the nomad. We're not nomads. We're not.
So if this is your country and you feel like you don't deserve a sovereign nation, then you don't need a bunch of different national flags. You just need the good old Star Spangled, 50 stars and 13 stripes.
You're projecting to us. And when you're the ones living like a damn gypsy, just running all over the damn place, getting deported and getting thrown out here and thrown out there, that's you. Don't put that on us. Boy, y'all love projecting on us. This is our.
No, I'm not projecting. I'm just saying that if you feel like America is your home, you shouldn't have 5, 6 flags to separate yourself from the nation that's already here.
No, we're distinct group within the nation. We're very unique to this nation, not only because the Star Spangled Banner, that was FBA hands on that too. That was Grace Wisher helping to sew the initial flag. So our fingerprints all over the whole culture. So yeah, we can also have other flags distinguishing our unique ethnic group with.
So what's the white American flag?
I don't know. They have a whole bunch of them. The Confederate flag was the white supremacist flag, and they still fly that within the nation.
But that was a sovereign nation, a collection of different states that came together to form the Confederate. Where's the sovereign nation inside of America that represent these different flags that you got put up?
And the Confederates is not a nation right now, but you still have white supremacists flying Confederate flags. See how that works? Because the ideology of it, you see, it's the ideology that they support. You understand?
So does flags represent a nation or a sovereign nation or a sovereign land?
Flags represent a whole bunch of different things. Like the Jamaican flag. Your flag is basically a different color Scottish flag. Your flag and your homeland was designed by white people.
No, it actually represents the Akan flag.
Why does it look just like the Scottish flag?
I mean, you could probably say the design, but the colors represent the Akan tribe. They have the same exact colors. So it's paying homage to our heritage.
Yeah, but it was some white Scots who basically patterned the flag after the Scottish flag. You understand?
But you got stripes on your FBA flag. So are you mirroring the white American flag?
No, because again, the so-called white American flag, our fingertips were already on that shit. That was our foundational American system. They like to give props to Betsy Ross for sewing the Spirit of 76 flag, but they like to ignore that it was a foundational Black American girl who sewed the initial stars and stripes. So our fingerprint has always been on that, sir. You understand? But yeah, you have more of a nomadic disposition than we do, sir. You're not on your ancestral homeland. I'm on mine. We're on ours. You're a guest here. I'm not a guest here. We were never guest here. We're literally the foundation of this nation.
Well, according to the Dred Scott decision, you're clearly a guest in America.
Well, the Dred Scott decision was overturned by the 14th Amendment. That's why we had the 14th Amendment. William Nesbitt and brother Octavius Cato.
I never said it wasn't overturned. I said
just telling you the history. If you want to talk about the history, that's why after the Dred Scott decision, there was a massive grassroots movement with foundational Black Americans saying, hell no, we are citizens of this damn nation because it wouldn't be a nation without us. We just fought in this damn civil war. You're going to make sure that we're going to have equal rights like everybody else because we ain't going no damn where. This is our shit. And we put the foot down and made it happen. We didn't get on a boat and flee, sir. Right?
yeah, but like I said, I said prior to the Dred Scott, you was guests in America, according to the Supreme Court decision.
We weren't guests here.
What did the Supreme Court decision say? It said no free Negro
we had no rights that a white man was bound to respect. We were here before the white man. We were here before them. So we weren't guests just because they say we ain't gonna respect your rights. We said, hey, that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do like y'all, just flee. We said all that.
When you say you was here before the white man, what exactly you mean?
Black people were here on this land, and you know that. You know black people were here in North America.
Nah, that's kind of pseudo. It's kind of
already proved that. There were black people here. Science proved that. Anthropology has proved it. The European explorers who came over here, they proved it. They've said it repeatedly. Lucia woman.
Name one black tribe that exists in America prior to Columbus.
The Yamasee tribe, the Mashit tribe.
You do know we have the DNA and the haplogroup for these people.
We do have
it. And they're not like 90.
Stop. It's been documented over and over again that there were black tribes here. That's not even up for debate.
No archaeologists, no.
Then why does Lucia woman? Why did they construct the oldest bones in the Americas, like 13,000 years?
Are you talking about A00? That talking about that haplogroup?
Why did they construct the oldest bones? They got the oldest archaeological bones of a human being in the Americas and reconstructed it, and it was a black woman, and they named her Lucia woman.
She was probably dark skin. She probably wasn't black. There's a difference between dark skin and black. And what was her haplogroup, or what was the genetic? What was the genetic samples that came out of that?
Dark skinned, but wasn't black.
Dark skin don't black.
What does it mean?
Is the Indian a black person?
Some.
What Indian is a black person, Tariq?
The ones they reclassified as Negro. Why did they reclassify so many Indians as Negro then?
Are you talking about some 19th century pseudoscience? We're talking about
you said
haplogroup, genetics, some things we could prove.
Why did they reclassify so many Native Americans as Negroes?
Why did they? Maybe because they were slaves. It was no black people in America prior to Columbus. That's a fact.
Classify Indians as Negroes over and over again.
Are you talking about a few Turkey tribes that mixed in with black slaves, or Seminole tribe that mixed in with black slaves?
Over and over again, they kept referring to Indian tribes as Negro. And
which tribes? Which tribes, Tariq?
Several ones. Look up.
Give us some tribes.
Hold on. Look up Walter Plecker. I'm talking. This went all the way up into the damn 20th century. They were doing this. There was a white man who was in control of the vital statistics named Walter Plecker. He was a eugenicist. He was a white supremacist. He noticed all of these Native American tribes who had black phenotypes. And he said, we're going to reclassify these people as Negroes. We're going to strip their Native American tribes from them, and they're going to be reclassified as Negro. They would do this all across the board. There were black people already here, sir. You can go look at pictures and see some of these people. Now you can say, well, they look black, they got an afro, but the haplogroup was type AB and they had O blood. And that don't mean anything. They had Negroid phenotypes. There's books about all this stuff.
What's Negro phenotype? Are you talking about horsehair and?
No, I'm talking about there are figurines and monuments of people who look like damn Gucci Mane over here in North America and South and Central America that go back thousands of years. There's a great book and called Von Wutenau, who has a book called Unexpected Faces in Early America. He has all of these ancient figurines.
What's his name? I don't mean to.
Von Wutenau, Alexander von Wutenau. Look up the book Unexpected Faces in Early America. There's several figurines in his book. He has pictures and he went around Central America, Mexico, all over, collecting all of these private artifacts that go back thousands of years of Negroid looking people in the Americas. This is so well documented. We were already.
So you're doing lookership, not real scholarship, basically.
We're doing who?
You're doing lookership, not real scholarship, basically.
Lookership.
I mean, you're saying that you could just look at these pictures and say they're black. Like, are you cross-referencing their culture, their genetics, their linguistic, what languages they spoke, and how it correlate to Black Americans today?
Because there was not a Black American at the time, so they're not going to speak English. His name ain't. You're not going to dig up an ancient monument named Daquan chiseled in a fucking wall.
No. What I'm saying, cross-reference, like we could say gumbo, right? Gumbo etymology go back to West Africa. That means okra.
I saw you said that. You said that gumbo comes from West Africa. I saw that.
Yeah. The name gumbo means okra in most West African languages.
But does gumbo come from West Africa?
The stew, probably the stew part, but not the actual gumbo. But the word gumbo comes from West Africa, so we could tell.
Words come from everywhere. Words gonna come from somewhere. Yeah, of course, a lot of words will come from Africa. That's the oldest continent on the planet.
No, that's a direct linguistic connection.
But how come the gumbo ain't the same then?
Well, when you move across certain barriers, like jollof rice in one area is not the same jollof rice in another area. Like, that's common sense.
Well, yeah, they ain't got nothing that tastes even remotely like gumbo that we have over there. Not even close. So
I mean, stew. Of course, you're gonna cook stew differently in a different part of the world with different vegetables and different, stuff to cook it with. So the stew is gonna be cooked differently.
Right. So
that's common. That's just common sense.
Oh, it ain't the same. There you go. Right, it ain't the same.
Yeah, but it's still African. I want to know where's the Native American culture or the Indigenous American culture?
There's foundation Black American culture. That's our soul food. That's everything we do.
No, I'm talking about because you said majority of foundational Black Americans was already here. Yes, so where's the culture? Did you cook buffalo? Did you cook where's the food you cooked that came indigenously from America that we could see today? Or even some deities or practices. Like when you libation, we know that come from West Africa. Like when people pour out liquor for their dead friends or they people they passed, we know that's that's African culture. Or gumbo or Ifa or we could see that culture.
What African language did you have before?
Me? You talking about me specifically?
You and us. If everything was African, because Jamaicans are African too, right?
Yeah. In Jamaica, the Maroon community, they speak a Cromanti language, which is a tree language from the Ashanti people. So we could see loan words like duppy, and different things that we say. It comes directly out of the tree language or the Cromanti language out of Ghana, present day Ghana. We even got a town called Akupang. That's literally a town too in Ghana called Akupang.
The Maroons speak their patois with that Irish ass.
No, they speak Cromanti. They do not speak patois.
Yeah, that's that patois that y'all got from the damn Irish.
No,
Right?
we speak a language mixed with certain.
Your accent is Irish. That Jamaican accent is an Irish accent, sir. Y'all don't have no African languages that y'all have over there.
Look up Cromonti, Tariq. Look
Yeah.
up Cromonti.
What?
A person from Ghana could go to Jamaica right now and go to the Maroon community and speak Cromonti fluently with them, and they could understand. Get mutually intelligible.
Maroon community, they speak patois. I done been up there in the mountains, and they try to sell me some weed. They speak patois in that damn Irish accent, sir.
Well, you didn't ask them about Cromonti. You wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. There's always some secret little African tribe. Stop it. All right. Professor Alon, hop on in, sir.
Hey, family, how y'all doing? I just want to point out a couple of things. First and foremost, the premise that he's using, like West Africa is old and ancient, is bullshit. I want to remind you that my mother, who's not particularly old, is older than most of the countries in West Africa. So miss me with that bullshit. Secondly, I've been psychoanalyzing this dude, and I witnessed what I think it sounded like he was trying to entrap several people. So be real careful with him. And he slipped up when he told you, give us some names. So I have a question for him. Who is us? What do you mean by us? You know what I'm saying? So we got to be careful with him. He is a defender of white supremacy. So I'm glad he came up here to teach us.
How am I a defender? I'm a Pan-African. How am I a defender of white supremacy? You sound stupid.
Because you're Jamaican and you've been colonized by white supremacists. Thirdly, I want to let you know that he doesn't understand.
Have you been colonized by Anglo-Saxon? Are you dumb? Are you that?
No, I'm neither. I'm a licensed scholar.
And when you say most of the nations, you're older than most of the West African nations. What nations are you speaking about?
I said my mother's older than most countries in West Africa.
What does that have to do with the tribes? What does that have to do with the Akan tribe or the Yoruba tribe or the Igbo tribe?
The system of white supremacy mixed your tribes up so much you don't even know anything. I've been to West Africa. I spent.
Is your grandmother older than the Akan tribe? Is your grandmother older than the Igbo tribe?
With you, I don't care because I'm foundational Black American.
So why even bring up the nations if you don't know about the tribes and say your grandmother's older than what?
I'm glad you're not gonna trip me up, sir. I'm better at this than you. The fact of the is you're playing little semantic games, and I don't. I'm
not playing. You're playing semantic game. You're saying my grandmother is older than a nation that came about in 1960. Okay, we know that.
Until you said you were a Pan-Africanist, you Pan-Africanist. You're an op, sir. That's who you are.
So you can't be okay. Now I get it. You can't be an FBA and a Pan-African. I understand now. So Tariq, do you say this to Professor James Small that he can't be a Pan-African and a FBA?
Yeah, you just getting into straw man semantics. So you just saying so.
He said Pan-Africans are ops to FBA. So I'm wondering, do you tell this to Professor James Small?
He said you.
He said you're a Pan-African. You're an op. So I'm wondering, do you tell Professor James Small he's an op because he's an African?
He did the same thing over and over again. He's talking about you. He didn't say Pan-Africanist. He's saying you. And James Small, he's very much aware of his lineage here. And he's very proud of it. And he stands up for the lineage here. So let's be very clear. Don't try to hide behind.
He also said he disagrees with you too.
And he also said he agrees with me too.
He said, quote unquote, I love the brother Tariq, but I disagree with him wholeheartedly on the rhetoric that he promotes. That's what he said.
Rhetoric that y'all lied about.
No, we could pull up the video right now.
I don't give a damn what you pull up. I'm cool with Professor Smalls. He's in my new movie now. So yeah, he don't with me.
Yeah, he said you his little brother, but he said he disagreed with your rhetoric on the FBA thing. He's a proud Pan-African. He has business in Ghana. He has hotels in Africa.
I've supported his businesses in Ghana. When they were going through some stuff, I donated money in the whole nine. Yeah.
You don't got to disclose all that, but can you be an FBA and a Pan-African?
You brought him up like there's some kind of beef. Yeah, that's me and Professor Small is good. We don't disagree with anything. There's no rhetoric. There's no rhetoric to disagree with. Lineage is your lineage. Yeah?
Yeah, just as a point
so
of
can
clarity,
you be a Pan-African and be an FBA?
As with a point of clarity, you keep throwing out these arguments trying to trip us up. The fact of the matter is, given the sequence of questions you're asking, I have a question for you, sir. Why are you here, and what's your agenda? What do you hope to do today?
Oh, I came to ask Tariq if he delineated from Africa and the Caribbean. Why is he selling Ogun hoodies and Ogun jewels? He could sell it indigenous if he believed that America FBA was already here before Columbus, so he could find a deity. He could find a deity that was already here.
What did that all that have to do with street gangs? Why are you bringing up street gangs that have nothing to do with you?
Well, because he said that we always. He said he's.
That's what kindergartners say when they get their hand cut caught in the cookie jar.
If you let me,
no agenda, sir.
If you let me explain, he said that we always been against Black Americans. So I brought up Stokely Carmichael. Then I brought up how the Caribbeans and Black Americans together to fight the oppression of the Hispanics in New York. So I gave him
called out for lying. A brother from New York called up and chewed your ass out for lying. So yeah, you doing a lot of lying up here.
He came up here and started yelling and said nothing.
Yeah, because he called you out, because several people called you out for lying. There was no Black people getting oppressed, no FBAs getting oppressed by no damn Latinos. You're just saying stuff, sir. Professor Allen is calling you out for lying. You're doing a lot of lying, sir. So yeah, what's your motive?
Like I said, I came up here to ask you directly because a lot of FBA said, well, I don't know why Tariq is selling Ogun hoodies. Maybe you should ask him, don't ask us. I said, okay.
That's just a bad faith argument because I want to, and they can't do shit about it. I can sell what the hell I want to sell. That's the answer. Understand? I can sell what the hell I want to sell. I can sell kente cloth thongs if I want to.
Yeah, so you can make money off Africa while you undermine Africa at the same time.
I ain't undermining nothing. Y'all make money off us. Y'all come over here and eat off us. You come over here and eat off my tax dollars. You come over here and eat off all of our minority programs and all of our set-asides. Y'all eat off everything we damn do. So yeah, I can sell some Ogun juice and I'm going to get some damn root work specifically for your level of must and make some money off that too. Yes, because y'all make money off us all the goddamn time. You come up off of us and it's a one-way street. We have to go over there and bring a goddamn bag in order to get over there. Y'all come over here and pull up a damn plate and eat off of us and then turn around and talk shit, hollering about why you selling some Ogun juice. Yeah, y'all owe us. That's why.
All right. Yeah, lastly, Brother Tariq, I wanted to bring up, he ain't us. I think somebody said he was Jamaican. I spent time studying as a scholar at a college in Ghana and Gold Coast. And what I discovered is there were two different, and although all of us aren't from Africa, I do have lineage. I'm foundational Black American Indigenous. And on my dad's side, I do have lineage from West Africa.
FBA claim they're Indigenous and they're not African. Yeah.
I'm not done, son. I'm not done. What I discovered in West Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is the foundational Black Americans who were brought to the United States, what was from the United States, were separated in Africa. We're a different lineage from them before we even got over here. We went to Cape Coast. I'm doing real research on that, sir. You can buy my book, idiot. You might learn something.
And you also came through the Caribbean. Funny how you guys say that you're indigenous to America and all your food comes from Africa. Your black eyed peas, your gumbo.
Not true. True.
Bush meat do we eat? The food? How come the food don't taste the same then? Huh?
Well, the bush meat you eat is raccoon, possum, bear meat.
Eat none of that. How come the food over there don't taste like our food then?
So no Black American cook raccoon and possums.
How come our food don't taste like theirs?
I mean, Jamaican food don't taste like African food. What does that mean? We all come from Africa.
No.
We all got where you think you got the okra and the black eyed peas from? Where you think the Gullah Geechee learn how to cultivate rice from?
Then how come
did rice come from America? No, they learn how to cultivate rice because they was on the shores of Africa and they know how to cultivate rice. So the whites brought them over to cultivate rice. That's common knowledge. Rice is not indigenous to America. Black eyed peas.
The food don't taste the damn same then. Huh?
The food ain't gonna taste the same once you cross a continent and you learn how to cook it.
Existed for thousands of years. Yeah. Peas existed for thousands of years. It's all about the way you make it.
So why all your food come from Africa? All your
All of what? What all food? What all food comes from Africa? Like what?
Your black eyed peas, how you cultivate rice like the Gullah Geechee.
Rice is
Um,
for the world.
no, rice is only indigenous to China and Africa, nowhere else.
No. So first and foremost, he said we came through the Caribbean. No, the Caribbeans, the people who went to Jamaica and
Do you
Haiti
know about the
and
triangle trade?
interrupting me, idiot. He came from the Elmina Castle by the Portuguese. It's called the Mine. Foundational Black American enslaved people came from Cape Coast up on the hill. We were different before we even got here. Secondly, what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, is called a red herring. It's an amphibole. He keeps throwing up different fact patterns to try to confuse us. The red herring came during the concept of red herring is when they would hunt people down with dogs in America. The criminals would take a red herring, a smelly fish, and throw it somewhere, put it on their clothes and throw it to throw the dogs off. He keeps trying to confuse us. He keeps trying to confuse us because he's a time-wasting tech.
So
That's what he is.
if Black Americans came from one place, why when I go to the New York the African burial ground in New York, we see a mixture of different culture. We see the Khan tradition, we see the Yoruba tradition, we see the Igbo tradition, we see the Senegambia tradition, and in fact, James Small used to do tours at the African burial site. So to say that you came from a specific reason,
how come we ain't musty like you?
who's musty? Is man, there's plenty of Black Americans that's musty.
Not really. How come we don't have the same must?
As who?
Slide on that root work. Slide on that.
Not be the center of it. I'm not trying to do that, but I do understand why you might not want us in here. And then I went into a right-leaning space just to see, and it was like shocking to my core, even though I'm a white woman in Missouri. They call themselves ethnic Americans, and only white Europeans can be ethnically American. Native Americans cannot be ethnically Americans. Mexican, Latino people who were definitely here before white people cannot be ethnically American. And they kept like saying stats and putting up like things in the board, which I don't always know how to see, but I would somehow, like, I would like ask and they would send me messages because I'm new to this. And they would never have a link. They're just like bullshit stats. And I understand why you may not want white people in here. But I do want to say that I hope that we can maybe and it has to come from our side mostly, but gain some trust in the community so we can be a community, because I think we have like-minded views and goals. And it's upsetting to not find, and maybe it's because it's Twitter, to not find a space where I can debate ideas and not debate whether or not someone's worthy of having an idea. Does that make sense?
The thing is, we don't have a problem with white people coming in these spaces at all. And I remember you've been in the space before. You've been here before. So yeah, we have white people all the time. So we don't have a problem with them coming in. But that whole ethnic American thing, that sounds interesting. So it was a bunch of white, sound like what, right wingers, white
Neo-Nazis, I would say.
Okay, and they were saying that they are ethnic Americans.
They said they're ethnically American. I'm like, how are you an ethnic American? And one of the reasons they said, and this has not been a space where this has been a problem, but I do understand when I go into a Black space, because I just don't even know. I just open a space and see what's going on, right? And they don't like that a white woman is in there, and I have to kind of understand that whenever they're seeing this type of thing coming in, like, oh, I'm a liberal white woman, but then they say racist shit, I have to understand that. I have to. It's not my fault. I'm not gonna I didn't do it, but I have to understand where they might be coming from.
Yeah.
But no, the weirdest thing they said is that like no ethnic American is what again how they say it, which is white Europeans, come in and don't assimilate to America. And they're not flying their own country flag. And I'm like, have you never been to an Irish or an Italian neighborhood? Like that's what they do.
Trying to understand the whole ethnic American.
It took me a while to understand it. I still don't think it's not real. It's a bullshit thing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, that don't. You immigrated here, but you're ethnically from another place. Yeah, that don't make sense.
It makes no sense.
Right.
But they think that they're the only. If you're a white European descendant and you're an American, then you have the right to be an American, and you're ethnically American. But nobody else has the right to be ethnically American. So if you're a Native American, if you were here before anyone came and claimed this country, if you were a slave and you were born here, if you were part of Central America that should have been, or the lines change, that's not ethnically American.
Okay.
To them, it's only white Europeans. And one of the reasons they stated is because they're not flying their flag.
Okay.
Of their home, of like their heritage. I'm like, well, that's just factually untrue.
Right. Let me. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Let me touch on some of that. Because yeah, that sounds like some white supremacist gibberish that those guys would say. That you're white and you're ethnically American. That's horse shit. Okay. Let's be clear. Let's be very, very clear. Foundational Black Americans, we're the people. We have the oldest continuous bloodline on American soil. The root word and the key word is continuous. We have the oldest continuous bloodline on American soil. We come from the people who were here before the U.S. was even a country. You understand? There were Black people here documented who, going to the 1500s, this is in most European documents, but even before then, there have always been Black people here. Now, white people, they came voluntarily generations later after the U.S. was founded. You see, we're more American.
Not be the center of it. I'm not trying to do that, but I do understand why you might not want us in here. And then I went into a right-leaning space just to see, and it was like shocking to my core, even though I'm a white woman in Missouri. They call themselves ethnic Americans, and only white Europeans can be ethnically American. Native Americans cannot be ethnic Americans. Mexican, Latino people who were definitely here before white people cannot be ethnically American. And they kept like saying stats and putting up like things in the board, which I don't always know how to see, but I would somehow, I would like ask and they would send me messages because I'm new to this. And they would never have a link. They were just like bullshit stats. And I understand you may not want white people in here, but I do want to say that I hope that we can maybe and it has to come from our side mostly, but gain some trust in the community so we can be a community, because I think we have like-minded views and goals. And it's very upsetting to not find, and because it's Twitter, to not find a space where I can debate ideas and not debate whether or not.
Man, this bitch sounds just like a Kern. Let me skip this up just a little bit. We'll skip this up just a little.
And vision. You understand? The idea of America as a land of justice and freedom, that's due to us pushing that line, pushing this country to live up to its ideas. Somebody had to enforce this shit somehow. That's been us. All of the principles of what America is supposed to be, we have been the only one, the only group consistently pushing that shit. That's either the truth or a damn lie. We've been the only ones. The white supremacists, they'll sit up and say that shit, oh, America, 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 and then turn on America at the drop of a damn hat. That's what the Civil War was about. They turned on the country. They're like, we're going to split this shit up and have a white supremacist nation.
Right. That's exactly what they did, because a lot of those slave owners at the time were actually Negroes. They were actually Negro. And when they was trying to tax them, they started referring to these people as familiars and famulises, or what later on became what we call families. Servant slaves, household servant slaves, friends, principalities, land slaves or servants. This is known knowledge. The term family means slave.
Called the Confederacy. Hell, all of these people thumping the flag and all of that, if you do something they don't like, they go do a J6 riot. They run up in Congress with pitchforks. And they'll turn on this country at the drop of a damn hat. I don't care about the principles of what America is supposed to represent. We've been the ones pushing that line about equality and everybody being born equal. The folks writing that shit had slaves. So they were promoting an ideology that they didn't really have. We had to enforce that, to say, hey, man, come on, man. Y'all going to act right with this 13th, 14th, 15th, 15th Amendment. If all men are created equal, enforce that shit. Now, we're not going to do that separate but equal stuff. No, just the fact that it's separate means it's not equal. If it's equal, give me that. All right, all this colored water fountain bullshit. No. I got to go pee and another door. Damn that. We'll burn this bitch down and start over. What you want to do is that. You see, we've been pushing that line of justice and real democracy. Foundational Black Americans are the true Americans. It was a good effort.
Right. And in order to be a true American, you have to be Aboriginal family. See, this is the loophole that they can't get through. In order to be a true American family, you have to be Aboriginal or part of the copper color races. Okay? The brown mahogany, the yellow bone, the red bone, the darky. See, American only fits a certain criteria of people. You cannot be ethnically, you can't be ethnically an American if you're not blood American, meaning having Aboriginal blood. And I believe this is a known fact. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Can y'all hear me loud and clear? Are we good on you guys' end? Are we good on you guys' end, family? Let me know what my audio sound like. Yeah, we are the Aboriginals of this land, the so-called Negro, the so-called FBA. But in reality, we are, in fact, the Aboriginal indigenous peoples of this land. We do not have any admixture. We are 99% of the family, the brothers and sisters, the tribe, or in fact have no admixture. And if you do, you can identify that admixture. Shout out to the real ones in the building, man. I haven't asked y'all to hit that like button on all live stream. So if y'all don't mind, family, or let me not say family no more. If you do not mind, gang, hit that like button, thumb up the video. And if you want to support the channel, Cash App information is pinned at the top of the live stream. I seen the new thing with a crown. What's that about? What you mean? A new thing with a crown? What's that? What's that, sis? Talk to me.
FBA sister Grace Wisher. People talk about Betsy Ross sewing the one of the American flags. I think that Spirit of 76 flag. They talk about Betsy Ross, but people don't want to talk about Grace Wisher, the foundational Black American girl who helped sew the Stars and Stripes
Oh
flag that we
yeah,
have.
for those that's listening in, that was listening to the young brother talk about all these food crops in Africa and this, that, and the third. We done beat that. We done beat that up so many times, family. Like we done literally beat that talking point up so many times. I don't even think it's even fair for us to even keep going through such things. You know what I'm saying? Because I can pull up one right now. Let me see. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Cause we're gonna show him that he don't know what the hell he talking about. So we're gonna just show a couple sources real quick. Cause we keep some shit on standby real quick. A lot of these other Aboriginals and YouTubers ain't gonna show y'all the facts. They just gonna talk all day. We ain't gonna just talk y'all all day. You know, we like to at least bring some critical analysis and bring some facts or some type of data to the table from where we got this from. So the first thing we're gonna go to is this book right here. This is from the Golden Age of the Mayas. It talks about how Africa was largely depopulated after the last pole shift, and that was around 10,000 years ago. Okay, so around 7,000 years ago, Negroes from Central America migrated to that motherfucking area. So you got to ask yourself, if they migrated to that motherfucking area, did they just bring themselves? Did they bring science? Did they bring knowledge? Did they bring food? Did they bring, what did they bring? If they just brought themselves. Most people just don't bring themselves naked. They at least, at minimum, have on clothes and shoes. Okay? That's tradition. So when we get into tradition of the earliest Americans, on this on page 75, all right, America, the first inhabited of the continents. So this book is written by, I believe, Lee Viaxton, Levakinston, and this book is written in 1843, and it talks about America's earliest traditions. And the name of the book is America, the First Inhabitant of the Continent. And listen, right here it states it was the belief of the wise Thomas Jefferson that America was the first seat of the human race. So right there, within the first couple words into the sentence, it laid out a mouthful. It laid out a mouthful, because he started talking about food and civilization. We all come from Africa, and I often hear Tariq Nasheed sometimes in the conversation revert back to that as well. Tariq, if you're listening, if any of the family fuck with Tariq like I do, send him this clip, because I'm about to load him up with so much information. He does not have to tie himself to Africa at all. Civilization, genetically, people, origin, none of that. Okay? Y'all clipping and send this to him. So let's get into it right now. So it was the wise belief of the wise Thomas Jefferson that America was the first seat of the human race, and that the Eastern Hemisphere was peopled from the Western. A letter written to him by President Stiles of the Yale College in 1786, while he represented the United States at the court of France, was published in the American Museum in November 1787. You can look at page 492 for that reference. All right. From the letter, the following abstract is taken clearly, stating that Mr. Jefferson's belief that the first inhabitants of Asia, who so much resembled the American Aborigines, went from America to Asia instead of coming from Asia to the Americas. Now that's critical. That's critical, right? That's critical, right? So let's go back to it. Hold on, my bad. I accidentally clicked out. I don't know why I did that. So that's critical. That's critical when you get into civilization, who brought what. So we know that when you get into the out of Africa theory, the first humans to migrate into Africa came from out of Asia. Thomas Jefferson believed that the first people of Asia actually come from the Americas. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. So let's go into the next set of information. This is from the Ideas of Historians and the Civilization Misconceptions. It's a very good reference book. If you've never seen it, I will drop this for you. But I just took this page out of 474 off of that particular page 474. All right. It said the idea that Europeans had introduced civilization to Africa is one of the biggest historical myths. In fact, evidence from archaeology, oral history, traditional language, and cultural practices strongly indicate that it was the South American Indians who introduced civilization to Africa 7,000 years ago, long before the Greek and Roman civilization emerged. The South American Indians had introduced civilization to Africa, thereby making Africa the second continent in the world to become civilized. Spurred by the South American Indian guests and the African great civilizations, contrary to the belief, it all came from the West. So we're going into more evidence. I think we just gave you 3 of them things, Brother Tariq, and I know a lot of these Africans in the chat is going to be absolutely furious with me, but slow your roll, buckle up. I'm going to give you one more, and for the Africans that's in here listening, I'm going to give you an African source. Let's go to Katanga A. Bongo and civilization in the ancient Egyptians, and we're going to read who introduced the idea. Let's zoom in a little bit. Hold on. There we go. Who introduced the idea of cultivation to Africa? Now we're getting into the food, directly responding to the guy who was having a conversation about all the food come from America. And we're going to get into some crucial foods directly of what he said come from Africa. So let's get into it. So one of the biggest things that Americans introduced was the idea of cultivation to Africa. The biggest change that the South American Indians brought to Africa was the change in agriculture from foraging to cultivating. Not only did the South Americans introduce cultivation to Africa, but they also introduced a wide variety of crops to Africa. All right. So that right there is a whole mouthful within itself. Let's just slow it down a little bit. We're not going to speed through this because we want each and every one that's listening in to have a clear understanding of what we're saying. What we're saying in a nutshell is that the Americans, the ones that's copied, revered to this day, has been the greatest thing since sliced bread going back at least 12,000 to 7,000 years ago. We've been the shit, family. Wake up. FBA family, Aboriginal American Indian family, wake up. Shout out to my brother J Rock. Let me give J Rock a wrench in the chat. Let me give my brother J Rock a motherfucking wrench. Let me give J Rock a wrench in the chat. Hold on. Let me give my sister Queen Butterfly a wrench too. We loading up right now. We getting back on code. We locking in. So this is easy, right? So off the rip, we're talking about how Africa wouldn't even be known for nothing, and if we didn't show them cultivation. They went from foraging to cultivating. They went from foraging to cultivating. Okay, family? So we got to understand that, man. So let's get into some more of this reading. Let's break this shit down some more. We got a lot more to get into. So it states right here, right? Not only did they introduce cultivation to Africa, but they also introduced a wide variety of crops. All right. The crops to Africa that landed in North Africa at the time had amazing agricultural potential. So Africa had the potential, right? But what was lacking was the variety of agricultural crops. This is where we come into play. You see what I'm saying? The wide variety of crops that the South Americans introduced to Egypt was one of the principal factors that led to the rapid rise and prominence of ancient Egypt. Okay, now listen, peep gang, this is the crucial part. Listen, today more than 90% of all the crop varieties that exist in Africa are South American Indian crops. And all the root crops that are grown in Africa today are South American vegetable crops. Nearly all vegetable varieties that are cultivated in Africa today originate in South America. Most African traditional dishes, family. Let's go. This goes back to the gumbo conversation that the African guy was trying to spew on our people. This is why we go to the facts. We don't just talk, we show. Right? Show your work. All right. So he brought up gumbo. It means okra, and it comes from America. From Africa. He said it comes from Africa. It's a West African word. So let's get into it. So today, all the traditional, all African traditional dishes originated in South America. Amongst the crops that South Americans introduced to Africa is, here go a couple just to name, okay? Pepper, cola nut, corn, millet, yam, sweet potatoes, cocoa yam, pumpkin, squash, gourd, black-eyed peas, peanuts, okra. Okra come from America, so that body bags the whole gumbo conversation. That body bags the whole gumbo conversation right there. Just by reading that okra come from America. Let's keep going. Pineapple, cocoa, plantains. So all you Caribbeans, that shit come from the Americas. Bananas, you Africans, come from Americas. Tobacco, it come from the Americas. Should I keep going? Coconut, ginger, garlic, sugarcane, tomato, onion, cotton. Gorge was also used as eating and drinking vessels. Tobacco was used for smoking only. The South Americans also introduced not just plants, but we introduced animals as well. So we're talking about goat, hen, guinea hen, dogs. Today, 7,000 years later, there is still a large overlap between the indigenous South American agriculture and African agriculture. So we got some more we're gonna get into. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna get into no more. I got plenty more sources, but guess what? I think I proved my point. I could just overload y'all with just source after source after source on the same claim. But I just want to make that clear for anybody that was listening to Bushmeat Barrister. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Don't let these tethers come around here angry, talking about we lazy and our food come from their places. Absolutely not. Africa would not even, Egypt, the greatest place in Africa, would not even be known for nothing if we didn't come over there and bring the agricultural and agricultural crop varieties. We showed y'all how to stop foraging and go from cultivating. That's why I try to tell these people that we was never hunter and gatherers. We taught the world not to hunt and gather no more. How the fuck we the hunter and gatherers when we was teaching the world not to hunt and gather? We told them how to cultivate. Come on, family. This is your brother, Aboriginal Power, the hood scientist, the hood archaeologist, the hood historian. Waking up our people every day with truth, knowledge, and freedom. Waking up our people and motivating them to be doing genealogical research, historical research, to do the comparative studies, link it together. This is going to spark the ultimate research of your life to become a knowledge of self. Once you master the knowledge of yourself and your ancestry, then you become the master teacher. Only then you can become the master teacher, once you master yourself, fam. So shout out to the family in the building. Let's continue to rock the house. Shout out to everybody. Drop the fire emojis. And
now there was a foundational Black American girl who was the initial seamstress for that. So we've touched all areas of this society and the culture.
Hey, don't be bogus, y'all neither. Support the channel. We can at least have 5 people support the channel. Damn, out of 120, we can't get 5 to support.
We're still pissed off at each other. We said, no, we want to honor the people who fought in this war. We want to do a memorial praise and tribute to them. That was foundational Black Americans doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to keep it a buck. Miss Paris, hop on, dear.
Hi, how are you today, Tariq? How you doing?
How you doing, beloved?
Good. I want to piggyback on what the young lady was just talking about. We have a lot of these uh, immigrants here in New York. You know, they're second generation immigrants. I guess maybe their parents came through Ellis Island, and they don't title themselves ethnic. I don't know what the title she was talking about, but they are very racist. They look down on African Americans, and they feel that they are the true Americans. And this is something that I experienced over and over here living in New York, particularly with the Greek community, Italian community. It's true. You know, they feel that they're better. And it's just I guess a whole ideology, the way that they think.
Let's be clear.
And
Let's just be clear. We gotta be clear on a couple things. They cannot be considered the true Americans if they don't fit the criteria. My bad, y'all. My motherfucking phone ringing. Hold on. Let me answer this call. It's an important call.
someone has a hot mic on.
Oh, Shameen, turn it down.
Piggyback on that, and then I wanted to ask you if you ever made it to Sylvia's. I'm sure you've been there before.
I was there, yeah. When I was in New York last week, I was there.
Oh, okay, good. It's much, I mean, it's still the same, but it's much better than what you were talking about in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then did you try Red Rooster?
I didn't. I went to Sylvia's. There was a
on Melba's?
I've been to Melba's. Yeah, I went to Melba's, but there was a place in Brooklyn called Waffles or something. What was the name of that place?
I don't know. I usually go to when I get African American, when I get Black. If I want soul food, I go to Harlem.
Yeah.
If I want Caribbean food, I go to Brooklyn. That's just the way it is. I don't know which one you're talking about in Brooklyn, though.
Yeah, I got to think of the name, but it was pretty good. But you know what? There was when I was in Brooklyn, I was going to go. There was a little soul food joint on Fulton Street, I think. And,
Fulton.
I went in there, and that shit wasn't no real soul food. Yeah.
No. Historically, Harlem is more African American, as you know, from the Harlem Renaissance, and Brooklyn is more Caribbean. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And one last thing, and I'll let you go. I wanted to know about what you thought, and maybe I apologize if you discussed it already, about what you feel about what President Trump said regarding the holidays. And it is Juneteenth. Well, it was Juneteenth yesterday, but he did say something about we need to get rid of federal holidays. Did you mention that at all yet?
But yeah, I saw something where he said that. So I want to know what context he means. Some people were saying that he might have been talking about Juneteenth. I don't know, but he gave props and praise to Juneteenth. The Republicans, they were bragging about mentioning Juneteenth and elevating Juneteenth. So, I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. I do not know. All right. Let me see. Joseph Price in the building. I see you down there, Carol. See, we don't kick you out. You white. You can be in here. We chop it up with everybody. Joseph Price. What's up, Joseph? Mr. Joseph, what's up, brother? All right, Joseph ain't saying nothing. Joseph, I'll give you 5 seconds before I get you out. And let me see. Let me look down here.
Yeah, brother, my bad. I'm at work, man. I hit the button by mistake. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good. What's on your mind, Joe?
Oh, shit, man. I'm over here moving these trucks around in this parking lot right now, bro. I hope you don't hear no background noise because I'm kind of moving fast and stuff. I'm over here down in Chino, man. Live out in Chino.
Out here. Yeah, I do hear some noise.
Yes, sir.
A little noise in the background. I'm going to take you down and I'll get you back up a little later. There's a little bit noisy in the back, so it's going to be, I don't want the janky sounds going on here. What else here? Okay, TMM. This is this other dude who always asks dumbass questions. Let me get him in here. And he works the night shift. He works at I think he works at SeaWorld. He's a dolphin bather. It's always noisy at his job. Where'd he go? I was gonna get him in here. This nigga bathed dolphins. He bounced. I don't know what happened. TMM, I was gonna get you up, but then you left. I think there was a whale that shitted on itself, and you got to go wipe it up at SeaWorld. This nigga works at SeaWorld. All right. Let me see. Let's see who else we got. Let's see who else we got. Yeah, TMM. This is a dusty nigga who works a real janky graveyard shift job, and he always calls up asking some dumbass questions. I'd like to know, is we the real Israelites? Shut up, nigga. And go over there and give that dolphin a baby bottle, nigga.
Hey, and let me just break this shit down to y'all some more, cause like I was trying to show y'all earlier about who we are as pertaining to the Americans. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be Aboriginal to be American. That's what I was trying to say earlier before I was rudely interrupted by a phone call. All right. So let me just show y'all some facts real quick. We love to show y'all the facts. We don't just say that just to be saying that vicariously. We ain't just saying you got to be an Aboriginal to be an American. We only say that because it's in the defined definition. So we're going to pull it up right here on the screen, family. Like I said, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. It's the one and only. The sorcerer, the one that's going to drop the facts. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, man. Hey, make sure y'all hit that channel. Look, we're going to Noah Webster's definition dictionary. 1828, we type in the word American, and we're going to see what it says right here. American. 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 All right, adjective pertaining to America. American is a native of America. Originally applied to the Aboriginals, right? Off the rip, we got to stop right there. First off, who is it applied to first? Come on, family. Who is it applied to first? The term American is originally applied to who? The Aboriginals. That's you. That's me and you, family. Okay, so we're the only true Americans. I'm just only quantifying what my brother Tariq has said and what we have been stating for the last 8 years on YouTube. Okay, so let's keep reading. So originally applied to the Aboriginals or the copper color races found here by Europeans, but now applied to Europeans. So it can only be one true Americans, but it's only one other American. It's one other American, but it's one true American. Y'all get what I'm trying to say, family? Y'all get what I'm trying to say? Y'all get what I'm trying to kick? It's only one real American, true American. And this is what the definition states. You see what I'm saying? So now let's go into the next. Let's go into the next definition, because we got to show you what Aboriginal means. Because I know y'all like, what is Aboriginal? What we be saying? We the first. We built this country. We the grand wizards. We the grand wizards. So we go to etymology, the etymology of the word Aboriginal. What does the word Aboriginal actually mean as it pertains to our people? What does the word mean? And as we look at the word American was applied to the Aboriginals. So let's break down what the word Aboriginal is in its etymology dictionary definition, meaning the origin of the word. The word means first, earliest existing from the beginning. All right, especially in reference to inhabitants of lands colonized by Europeans from Aborigines. See Aborigine, right? As Al. The specific Australian sense is attested in 1820 with a capital A. The noun meaning of an original inhabitant or an Entonchan is attested from 1760, related to aboriginally or aboriginality. All right, to aboriginality. So, in order to be America and to be foundation, to be proud, to my so-called black brothers, my so-called FBA brothers, we are the aboriginal peoples of this land, meaning inhabitants here since the beginning of time. And who are the aboriginal people? Those are the Americans. Why you say the Americans? Because the word American is being defined by labeling and describing.
Go ahead.
Back into this stuff.
Go ahead and nurse them damn sea lions. Get your ass. Let me see who we got. We got a lot of people in here. Let's get Jay. Let's get Jay Mitch and Jay Mitch in the building. Jay to the Mitch. What's up, Jay? Jay Mitch in the building. All right, Jay ain't saying nothing. Jay, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to come on through and say something. And if not, I'm gonna get you up out of here. And let's get Red Cloud.
Whoa, brother, how are you?
Red Cloud, you're not about to come in here with some janky topic that's all over the place. What's on your mind?
Oh, I need advice.
Okay, what advice on what?
Okay, so I'm feeling kind of anti-Semitic because, I think the Jews are bringing us into a war.
All right, so what?
So, help me out. Help me out.
Why don't you step to the Jews and holler at them?
How do you do that?
You know, you the one brought them up. You don't.
I don't even know. Yeah, but how do you do that?
You go the way you calling us. Why are you calling us, telling us about Jews? Why are you not in Jewish spaces?
I asked for advice, dude.
Go to. That's my advice. Go to them and give them your grievances.
How?
To them, the same way you're doing here now. You whining to us. Go whine to some Jews. Arising, what's up, Arising?
Oh, hey, y'all, family. I just want to tap in and say happy Juneteenth to y'all. You heard me? Up late still celebrating Juneteenth. I'm sorry.
And I don't know why a lot of these people celebrate certain holidays when I think that a lot of these holidays that they try to put on our people is refurbished. They revive. You see what I'm saying? I want y'all to listen to this conversation because there's been a lot of agent activity with a lot of these coons and tethers around here. So I don't know what's up with a lot of these people. So let's get into the conversation. I think we can get into it right now. Shout out to everybody in the building. If y'all can hear me, like I said, I'm not in my studio. I'm out of town on vacation. Hit that like button, thumb up the video. Let me know if my audio is good. We ain't had one person support today's live stream. Y'all really broke it, though. I'll let y'all slide.
He's giving me the thumbs down. Come on, Ike. Tell me something. Ike, hop on in.
Can you hear me?
Hear you, Ike. What am I saying wrong?
All right, so you said that we in America we on code. But obviously no. Hold on. So obviously we have a whole bunch of factions of gangs going on right now.
Okay. I knew you were gonna go with the gangs. Yeah, stop it there. That's what I'm saying. The fact that you're using outdated stereotypes and I can hear an accent with you, there ain't no we. Where are you from? What part of the Caribbean you from? Ike. What part of the Caribbean you from?
Hey, to be honest, Louis Luck, I won't say nothing about them people neither because they created a system that you can't disrespect them based off of religious orders. So when you disrespect them as the term that you used in the chat, it makes it a religious matter, which makes it a crime, which makes it an anti-Semitic crime, a hate crime. So what you do is you lump them together as all whites. You can't separate an Irish white, Italian white, and a Jewish white from each other. You combine them together and you target the systematic appliance that they're all applying, whether separately or in together. That's the way I look at it.
Where do you think I'm from? I want to hear from you.
I'm kind of getting a Haiti thing there. Where's your family from?
I'm 100% foundational black. Well, actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest. I'm mixed. So I'm from I got mixed Ethiopian and foundation Black American.
This nigga is not no mixed Ethiopian, no mixed foundational Black American. I can hear the motherfucking Najira and Fufu crumbs falling off his lips. This nigga ain't no F. What's wrong with these self-hating Africans afraid to represent and acknowledge where they're from when Black American or Aboriginal American ask him that? We asked you, this how you know it's a foreigner. You ask the foreigner where they from, they gonna feel like you being disrespectful. You understand what I'm saying? Because they feel like their whole country is disrespect. It's a shitty place.
Matter of fact.
And so they look at it with the disdain and disrespect. So when we mention where they from, it automatically strikes a PTSD of why they even fled in the first place. Hey, Lewis, look, I really appreciate that coming from you, brother. I really do. Like, honestly, gang, I really do. Appreciate that, bro. I really do. That means a lot, gang.
I'm gonna be honest. Well, actually, matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest. I'm mixed. So I'm from I got mixed Ethiopian and foundational Black American. Pertaining to your term of it, right? So
My bad, gang. I don't know why that shit kicked me off. I think I seen big Ubuntu power lurking around. Ubuntu power, bro. Hold on, y'all.
foundational Black American. Pertaining to your term of it, right? So I got a split ancestral mix. So I'm foundational Black American, but I also got a Ethiopian.
Man, ain't no Black American get with no motherfucking Ethiop. Y'all let me know if y'all hear me in the chat, man. Drop those fire emojis. Drop those fire emojis if the sound is back. Share the live stream. Give it a quick share. Don't be no buster. Shout out to the haters. Keep hating. We fuck with y'all. Hey, but all the real support the channel, man. Shout out to the real ones, man. Hey, we just pushing this awakening, man. We really got to get on code with our people, man, no matter what's the scenario at the end of the day. Big Belioso, man. Let me give my brother Big Belioso a shout out. Let me give my brother Big Belioso a motherfucking shit out. Shout out to the family, man. Hope all is well with you, Belioso. Hope all is well with your family. You know what I'm saying? We got my sister Chica Harmony Roots up in the building. That's it, y'all. Make sure y'all show some love. Let's get back into this content, though.
Ancestral
This
to your term
Ethiopian
of
talking about he half Ethiopian, half Aboriginal.
Right. So I got a split ancestral mix. So I'm
Shout
foundational
out to Zay
Black
in the chat. I
American.
see you in the chat, Zay. Shout out to the homie, man. What's up, homie?
Ethiopian.
Now, who's Ethiopian?
I seen you over there
My
beating on some
grandma.
of my homies, cuz you had to chill out.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that work? How did they get with an FBA?
How do you think it worked?
Because they come over here and they distance themselves from us. So I'm trying to see how that worked.
Well, obviously, your framework of how.
Shout out to Alabama in the chat, aka brother 832 in the building. Brother 832, aka Alabama in the building.
Black people globally interact with each other don't work exactly how you think it does.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Hold on, something ain't adding up. Your grandmother, I can understand the dude out here getting him a little FBA thing, but your grandmother was Ethiopian and she got with an FBA dude.
Yeah.
And what did her Ethiopian family have to say about that? Because they trip on shit like that.
Well, you tell me. Since you know everything about black interactions, you go ahead and tell me.
It's your lie, because I don't believe your lie. Damn lie straight. I don't believe that shit at all. Yeah.
So why do you think it's a lie?
I mean, cause you already sound like you capping. I think you're full Ethiopian. I can hear your forehead bouncing up. What are you talking about? Some other thing. You come in here talking about some damn gangs. Out of here. Gang.
No. Go ahead and explain it to me, because you explicitly said that we ain't got no separation. You basically said that we all on code. So go ahead and explain.
You even told that lie. I didn't say that we ain't got no separation. I said we're the most on code people out of black people globally.
Oh, really? So you basically saying that your little FBA cult.
I ain't okay. You about to start? Oh, this is the Fed. Did you say cult? Oh, did you say a cult?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
sound like a Fed. Now you're doing Fed talk. That's why I didn't believe you. See, there we go. You talking?
Now let me speak. Let me speak a little bit. I'm generous. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna let you talk your shit. But let me talk.
Okay, no. Because see, now you've established yourself as a liar. So now we need to know why you're lying. Now, why are you lying? Now we got to know why you're lying now. Because now you're talking, first you start talking about a gang, then you said you're half FBA, then you start talking about a cult. So now you sound like a Fed and you lying. So why?
Right. Lying
and
people don't lie for no reason. Shit.
Either.
See, that's what they do. They come up here like, oh, y'all slandering. Y'all a organization. Y'all a cult. Y'all are extremists. Y'all hate the Jews. They run all these fake ass tactics to try to stop the movement, bro. They be trying to disrupt the conversation, fam. I don't believe these people claim to be part of Black Americans. I think they say that to have reparations claims. I think that's too. But see, we got to learn how to gatekeep. And I think we're doing a fucking fantastic job of littering. Somebody said, Zay, you and Root ain't slick. We know Root hired you to be the hot man. That can't be certified Sanchi. Talking like that in the chat. What you mean, Sanchi?
2 reasons why people lie like what you're
Y'all
doing.
getting
Just
too
2 reasons
zesty in the
only.
community. I'm not
Either
even
you are
entertaining
each other,
none of the zesty conversation.
or you're a damn op. That's the only.
Okay.
I'm not entertaining none of the zesty conversations, bro. On my mama, bro. If your ass zesty, your ass gonna have to be a straight up nigga around me, gang. Straight up, like, cause I hate these narratives because I don't want to seem like motherfuckers pushing those agendas. Not saying that motherfuckers is, but I'm back on this information, gang. Oh, you said a hot man. My bad, fam. That came off fucked up, son. You said they hired you to be the hot man. I'm like, the hot man? What? Nigga, that ain't Sanchi talking like that. Oh, a hitman. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I was like, Sanchi, what the fuck is wrong with you, my nigga? You cool? Nigga, we from Tennessee, gang.
People don't lie for no reason. Either.
All right.
2 reasons why people lie like what you're doing. Just 2 reasons only. Either you are a tether, full-fledged, or you're a damn op. That's the only.
Okay.
Which one is it?
Well, which one do you think I am? Because I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and explain.
Either way, we ain't with you. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you okay? So are you done muting me?
No, I'm just we are lying. We already expect more lies. But go ahead.
All right. So basically, I just want to understand. Why do you think that we majorly on code? I want to understand that.
You're not of our lineage.
Yeah.
You can't speak for us. You can't do that. I don't believe you.
No. Okay, forget me. Forget me.
Yeah.
Forget me. Me. I don't matter.
Yeah.
I don't matter. I just want to understand it from your perspective. So why do you think?
Shout out to Juice for the Cash App donation. We appreciate the donation. Everybody show some love to Juice in the chat. Being the only one to support the chat, we do appreciate that. Let's get back to the content.
You're asking me a question. I'm trying to answer it, and you keep flapping your damn gums. What you want to do? Just go ahead and say talk. Go ahead. You're asking me a question. I was going to answer the question, but you have more to say. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. So you're insinuating that Black Americans are more interconnected and are able to craft a means of coming together and making a change, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say on code, because obviously you said we ain't all on code, even though that's basically what you said earlier.
I didn't say every foundational Black American ain't on code. Obviously, enough of us are. That's what I'm saying. So why lie about that?
All right, so scratch that question. Why do you think we?
Oh, no. You've established yourself as a liar, family. This is a lesson for the family here. When somebody's lying and they've established themselves as a liar, acknowledging that they're a liar, that's one thing. Now it's kind of important to know why they're lying. That's equally as important. Now go ahead. Now what's your point? Because now you just kind of you got called out for being a liar. And
so how am I a liar? I want to understand why you think I'm a liar.
Already lied about 4 or 5 things within the first.
Go ahead. Explain it.
Yes, sir. Number one, you came in talking about a gang. Then you said I all on code. Then you said something about a cult. All right, so you fed line, sir.
All right, so basically you want to save face for your code. That's basically what's going on right now.
So are you doing I'm a tether and I say so? Because the only cult is in your imagination, sir. Is the cult in the room with you now?
So who runs the FBA title? Who runs it right now?
No.
Don't you own? Don't
they talking? See, look, they're trying to act like, hey, these little tethers are getting slicker and slicker.
Cult in the room with you now?
So who runs the FBA title? Who runs it right now?
No.
Don't you own? Don't hold on, Tariq.
Yeah.
Don't you own the trademark for it?
Mm-hmm.
You do own it, right?
I do own the trademark.
Okay, so you admitted to it. So if you own,
I own the this is Fed talk. Now we're getting somewhere. This is Fed talk right here. This is the Fed attempt. This is like a feeble attempt of
Tariq, calm down.
No. This is a lesson. Let me break this down. This is the lesson for the family. So you notice we've been getting these little Fed talking points the last few days. So just to let the family know, but this is a lesson. Let me show you what we're dealing with. Okay. So yeah, so now let's get back into it with the bad faith arguments. This is like a Fed talking point that they didn't sent from some because no. Yeah. African American has 3,000 trademarks on it. Is that a cult?
Okay, all right. Do you view
No. African.
Hold on. Tariq, hold on.
No, stop.
Nah, he trying to run from that question. You brought up FBA, you brought up trademark, and then you brought up it being a cult and being owned by somebody. Because it's a cult. Making it owned by somebody kind of makes it a cult, is what he's leaning to. But that was a good rebuttal. Nasheed said Black American The term Black American has over 3,000 patents and trademarks. That's crazy.
That a cult?
Okay, all right. Do you view?
No. African.
Hold on, Tariq. Hold on.
No, stop fading out. They better tell your supervisors they better get some more experienced feds. African American has 3,000 trademarks on it. So all 3,000 people, the leader of African American. So what do you? Come on.
All right. Can I speak?
Just answer the question.
What's your
giggling ain't helping you, sir. Giggling shows that you're talking in bad faith. I'm asking you. I'm bringing it back to you. Yes, I own the trademark for Foundational Black American when it relates to educational and
okay. So why
when it relates to educational and promotion.
Why do you own the trademark, sir?
Why do you to protect it? The same reason why people own African American, for different reasons, right?
Okay, so why, from your understanding, since you're the one that understands everything else, right?
Did you hear what I just said? You asked why do I own the trademark? For several reasons. Number one, because I put out books and promotional information, and that's trademark because we sell products. All right, that makes sense. You trademark products. If I put out a book, or if we have an event using the word FBA, a promotional event, you trademark it so that nobody does another event similar that undermines your event. Do you know how trademarks work? Did they teach you that in Ethiopia?
All right, so I have a question. Okay,
Oh,
so
no.
are you?
No. We're still talking about this. You asked the question, and I'm giving you an answer. Now you're changing the subject. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand how trademarks work?
Yes, but you're dodging the questions.
How am I dodging the question? And I'm asking it directly. I'm answering it directly. I'm telling you why I own the trademark of Foundational Black American. We put out promotional projects and books, and you have to protect them. Does that make sense?
Okay, can I ask a question real quick?
Family, study these tethers. Study them.
Are you aware of Arthur Watt?
Study.
You got to study these tethers. That's why I constantly keep bringing these conversations to our awareness so we can understand their tactics and their undermining division layouts. You see what I'm saying? And their conversations about you. Shout out to the build family in the building. I want to make a huge announcement real quick. And this is shout out to y'all, man, to everybody in the building. Drop a fire emoji if you can hear me right now. I need to know who all in the building with us right now at this current time. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the sisters and brothers. Shout out to the tribe. Shout out to the gang. I want to say shout out to all my subscribers, all the people that share these live streams constantly. Shout out to all the people who comment and hit the like button. Shout out to all the people who watches my short form, long form, and mid form content. We recently just hit 36K on this channel, family. We just hit 36K subscribers. When I got my channel back, family, at 34,000 subscribers. So within the last 28 days, almost 31 days, we have reached over 2,000 subscribers. Shout out to the tribe. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Hitting that like button, sharing the live streams, hashtagging Aboriginal Power, hashtagging Bab News on all platforms as you share it. It goes the extra mile. We appreciate it. It's a huge form of support. Constantly share the live stream, constantly hashtag. We just hit 36K on the channel, family. We lit. Let's go.
Family, study these tethers. Study them.
Are you aware of Arthur Watt?
Study these people. Study them.
Listen, hold on. This is a serious question, Tariq.
No,
can you?
Oh, you're changing the subject. Why are you changing the subject into something completely?
I'm not. I'm not.
Yes, you are. Why are you changing the subject like that? Why are you changing the subject into something else? You asking me about somebody? I didn't even hear you. Why are you changing the subject like that after you asked a bad faith question, got debunked, and now you're changing the subject? Why'd you do that?
Because you're deflecting. I want to have you answers.
I'm deflecting. You asked me a question and I'm giving you an answer, and you're changing the subject.
You
Jan
keep muting me.
Ronner, man, where you been at, Jan? I ain't seen you in Jan. We back, Jan. We back. That's a fact, bro. We here in full effect, and we keeping the information full throttle. It ain't been too much of the information around. I got nothing but heat.
Biryani
Y'all
chicken.
know.
I can just smell tetherishness on you. So why are you lying, Ike? Well, that's what I want to know. Now I want to know really why are you lying? Why?
I'm not lying.
Why are you lying and acting like an ob?
I'm not. So do you know who Arthur Watkins is? Because he apparently he has a Freedman Bank going on right now.
We ain't talking. We're talking. Well, Arthur, he's somewhere in here. You talk to him about that. Why are you asking me about his business? Why are you asking me about that? Why are you asking me about somebody else's business? I don't know what's going on with this. Why are you asking me about that? You sound like a fed. Why are you asking me about something that I don't know?
Okay, are you gonna let me talk?
No, why are you asking me about that? No, just
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
no.
But are you gonna let me talk?
No. Let me know now. Why are you asking me about something like that? I don't know nothing about that. What about him?
Because to my understanding, Arthur Watkins, all right, he's focused on Freedman Reparations Bank, all right. So he
Okay. Why are you asking me that? What does that have to do?
Because you have all right. So you own the title of foundational Black American, all right.
No,
And he
no. I own a trademark for products and certain services. There's other people who put out stuff with FBA on it that I ain't got nothing to do with. Okay, so you sound like a fed.
I'm not a fed.
Why are you talking like a fed, man? You framing these very accusatory things. No, I don't. I own for my products, but other people put out FBA products that I don't have anything to do with. So why are you lying? Why are you lying so much?
All right, so look, I just want to understand why. I want to understand why you're not connected to Arthur Watkins, because
there's a lot of people. That is 43 million foundational Black Americans. I don't know everybody, sir. I don't know everybody. And the fact that you're coming in here asking me about somebody else's business, that sounds like Fed talk for some reason. It just sounds fetish. Don't it sound just then? Do you listen to yourself? If you were somebody else, wouldn't you think you were a Fed just asking something like that?
no, look. Can I talk?
No.
Are you gonna let me talk?
Yes, because you're just changing the subject, saying little Fed talking points.
I'm not.
Like, you know what?
I promise you, I'm not. I promise you, I'm
like. Sounds like somebody gave you a list of talking points to just mention. That's what you're doing. You're just going over some talking points that were emailed to you by some supervisor or something. Because when one thing gets debunked, you move on to some weird non sequitur that has.
Hey, look.
No. See, we've been getting a lot of this little Fed activity around here, and it's the same pattern.
No. Hold on. Arthur's right here, right now. So
okay, shout out to Arthur.
Look how he said no.
We've been getting a lot of this little Fed activity around here, and it's the same
pattern. No. Hold on. Arthur's right here, right now. So
okay, shout out to Arthur.
His voice came.
But yeah, just your whole talking point. Y'all come in here, y'all say something, say some bullshit, get debunked, and then immediately change the subject. Say some bullshit and then change the subject to something else. Now why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Ike?
Not everybody gets called the agent. It's been of the conversations where these people do not get called agents. The reason you get suspected as an agent is the certain things that you say during the dialogue. You see what I'm saying? Certain things that get you red flag in the eyes of CIA and FBI as far as identity extremists. And when you pushing a narrative on a particular person in hopes that they accept one of the allegations that you threw out, it'll probably be more than enough. A lot of people use agent conversation provocateur shit like, oh, why you slandering? Slandering is a criminal activity. It's a crime. Oh, you a kook that gets you watched as a extremist. You see what I'm saying? Yo, scam. These terms and conversations is agent conversations.
Why are you
A
changing
lot of people come over and do it with me. It's agent shit to me.
the subject from subject to subject to subject, and you're trying to
I can't explain it if you keep muting me, so I don't know what you're trying to do, nigga.
won't answer a question. What you do, you keep trying to crowbar talking points. You're not answering anything. You're just crowbarring talking points. That's why I'm muting you, because it seems like you were given a directive to just crowbar talking points, to throw some bullshit out there and then change the subject, and throw some more bullshit out and then change the subject and throw some bullshit.
What do you want me to?
Yeah, you keep changing the subject and you keep trying to crowbar non sequiturs.
What do you want?
Well, when you see people do that constantly, that's like what the brother explained earlier in the last conversation. That's what we call a red herring. Is where you have a conversation, get defeated, and then you say a bunch of shit to throw them off from the original conversation. So changing the course of the conversation or switching from topic to topic, that's called red herrings. They do that when they really have no conversation and ultimately they're defeated within their initial conversation.
And throw some bullshit.
What do you want me to?
Yeah, you keep changing the subject and you keep trying to crowbar non sequiturs.
What do you want me to answer? I answer for you right now.
Okay. How long have you been working for the feds?
I'm not a
See what I mean?
Sir,
nigga, you crazy.
What's your Fed name? Double O Musty? All right.
Can you pause it real quick?
Eat Bond. I mean, what's your Fed name? Because you're just doing a bunch of Fed.
Nigga, Tariq, you need to calm down. I'm not no Fed. I'm
Dude.
just listen.
No,
Hold on one second. I'm
you
gonna open up.
coming
I got
across
y'all.
like a Fed. You understand? You're Agent Double O Musty, dude.
Listen, I care deeply about my people. Okay, that's all.
But first, you came in talking about gangs and all that dumb shit. Everything you've said.
Gangs is a serious problem we got, nigga. What are you talking about?
Yeah. East African gangs in Minnesota. Yeah, the gangs in your community. Yeah, them Somali.
Tariq, you know
them Somali gangs and them East African gangs. Yeah, that is a problem, right?
Okay, so you're saying that gangs are not a problem?
Hell no, they're not a problem. Gangs are not a problem now. What the f are you talking about? Where are gangs a problem? Huh?
Okay, so you basically brushing off our issues.
Where are gangs a problem?
Chicago, nigga.
Nigga.
What about Chicago, nigga?
Nigga.
Tell me about Chicago.
You tell me.
Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself. I want you to speak right now.
Oh Lord.
Go ahead. Tell me about Chicago.
You tell me about Chicago. I love Chicago. I don't have a problem with gangs.
No.
No. I'm telling you about Chicago. Dude,
Yeah, I mean, I went to Chicago several times. My brother in Chicago, one of my little brothers in Chicago right now, been living there for a little minute now. Every time I've been to Chicago, how much I love Chicago. Beautiful city. You know what I'm saying? I think I was right by Oprah shit.
Oprah shit right next to O Block.
Yeah. We wasn't too far from there, but we was in the Gold District though. So the Gold District ain't too far, like about a 15-minute drive if you consider that. Ain't too far, but shit, that's $1 billion area, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful neighborhood, nice restaurants. O Block is a small area. O Block is one community one neighborhood in Chicago on King Drive. That's a little ass street. King Drive is a little ass side street.
Keep them running. Copper colored
that?
grizzly.
Who the hell was that?
Shout out to Alabama in the building, man. What's the word?
Can I try? I don't try to put you on blast as far as Tariq is concerned, because you know I probably have a generational issue that has to be addressed. But when I hear a person keep talking about delineation and is a fraud on code, that's what I wanted to address. If you don't mind, if we could walk a little bit on this, my good young brother. In Black History Month, ironically, I believe it was about February the 4th, Neely Fuller Jr. transitioned to the ancestral plane. Now, anyone who keeps using white supremacy, racism, and being on code without mentioning him is a perfect example. I'm not accusing him of being agent or acting in agent behavior, but it's kind of hypocritical if you claim lineage is the issue when anyone who is dealing with racism, white supremacy, he is the literal great grandfather. I mean, they want to mention Frances Cress Welsing. Everywhere she went, she said Neely Fuller Jr.'s name and respect. You feel me?
Right.
You feel me, Copper Color?
No, you're absolutely right, which is why I think that it's a good thing to bring his name up. And I think it's a good thing that Tariq reached out to the family and helped out with those funeral exchanges with Neely Fuller recently. So I think it's a good thing, man. Not just mentioning his name, but constantly pushing his message
Well,
along
I
with.
would also add buying the book, the actual code. The code is a book. He says the
Yeah.
leader is the code. Professor Black Truth says the leader is the code. Jason Black, the so-called Black Authority. And I'm going to land on this one point, my brother. Neely Fuller Jr. in over half a century and doing his work refused to use the term black. He said there is white supremacists and non-white people. We'll cook on that, brother.
Right. And so right now we're dealing with non-white people that falls under that umbrella. And now we don't gotta call these people black agents. We don't gotta call them these
Call them
verbiages.
teethers,
We
Agent
gonna
Double O
call
Musty.
we gonna call them a little musty tether. You see what I'm saying? And it fits them perfect, and it doesn't single out the good brothers and sisters that is from the island that does ride with the cause and support in any way that we need. So shout out to you.
Reiterate, my young brother, young blood. What's a tether? And by the way, let me say this: on either end of the chain is an African Moor and a Caucasoid European. But y'all cook, goddamn it, cook.
Those that may be confused what a tether is. A tether is someone that is of immigrant status that often is melanated or dark skinned, and they come here to act like you but undermine you, and ultimately have hidden envy and jealousy towards our people. That's what we call a tether. One that can tie themselves to their culture while also being attached to your culture. And at any given time, they can pull back from your culture and go back to their culture.
Okay,
Okay.
so when they accuse you of being slanderous, when they say you're being divisive, whether you categorize that as agent behavior or not, it is certainly in support of a system known as white supremacy. Because who the hell are you to dictate to me in my shit?
How I speak.
I'm confused, Bap.
Right. Me too. You can't slander the first American, the true American, which I showed y'all by definition, what the term American means. And I showed you what the term Aboriginal means. So when we talk about the peoples that are Americans, you can't be an American. You can't be Aboriginal unless you fit the criteria. And as Negro peoples of America, 99% of you people fit the criteria and in fact come from Aboriginal indigenous lineage, which makes you the foundational Negroes of this land.
And what's the dictionary definition of tether?
Of what?
Well, brother, we know already that an American is a copper-colored Aboriginal. Do you have a problem with that, bro?
Of the word tether?
Yeah.
Oh, the word tether? that ain't gonna have a social understanding like what we apply it for, but it does
But it
have a.
is an action.
But yeah, so
It
let's
is
get
a
into.
verb and an adjective. A tether ties something to something. How about
Mm-hmm.
mooring? What is a moor?
There you go.
A boat is moored to a dock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the dock is part of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are attachments, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So explain to me, brother, because I try to keep my message simple, is get the nigga an agenda to attach United States citizens to Americans. And I yield.
Yeah, I just think that both terms, tether, agent, fed, that's three terms. That's all slanderous because in the court of law, you would have to prove exactly that they are that. And half of the times when people put those labels on somebody, they can't prove that that's what that person is. Like when you call somebody a fed, how are you going to prove that nigga's a fed?
Oh nah, that's not a crime calling someone tethered by their actions. Cause the first and foremost,
Slanderous and civil court
yeah,
defamation.
even in civil court, it wouldn't even stand no ground because first and
Whoa,
foremost,
whoa, whoa,
that,
whoa, whoa, hold on, hold on, hold on, Val.
I want to
Because
break this down real clear.
yeah,
I
please
want,
jump on that. Don't
I'm
leave
gonna
that
break.
dangling.
Yeah, I gotta break this down real clear. First of all, the term tether, what makes it the first fact is a tether is a foreigner, one who immigrated here to someone else's land. You fled from yours to come to mine. So that fits the criteria fits right there. Then ones who undermines you, one who benefits off of the work or built structure, political facts or efforts or economic efforts that we put together, and they benefit off of that. And they do benefit off of our stuff. Now, what makes them a tether is where we don't benefit off of their stuff and we don't migrate to their places and identify as their people. So that what makes them a tether. None of that is slander. This is all known facts.
Well,
And we're not.
usually when you call somebody an agent or a FBI worker, that is slanderous because those terms can get somebody harmed within their
Well, when you
community.
when you ask it in a question form, it ain't slander. And then in the whole conversation, he said, "Are you an agent? What are you an agent?" These what ifs more of a question form. So, and like I said, a lot of these people are going to try to use these tactics like Zay is using, which I would say is a tether tactic. Not saying you're a tether, but these tactics don't work. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just
You
asking
can't use
questions.
the legal, you can't use the legal game and being criticized based off of your actions and then try to take us to court for it.
No, I'm asking. I'm asking questions. I'm
When the
not saying.
same immigrants will come here and look at us in our face and say that we're lazy, and that's a direct slander from coming from people that built this country. So that's a
And
direct
it's
slander.
defamatory. Now, my good brother, are you of the mind that white supremacy exists?
You asking me about.
And this is another wrong thing. If you're in another person's land speaking ill will against them, that's already an issue. That's the first wrong thing you're doing. That's like walking to somebody else's house and telling them what they should be doing. And that, oh yeah, my house is better, but you're not living there. You see what I'm saying?
But
It's
you
the
have.
contradictions and the influence and the entitlement based off of them been eating off our plates. Such now that we pull away, it becomes slanderous
Well, I'm just saying
because
because you have plenty of government workers that literally get on national TV and recite those same things that you're saying, like calling black people lazy or this or that. So it's up to
what
you
Black
to actually
Boule
hold them
is speaking
accountable.
up against what Black Boule is speaking up against immigration and immigrants as it pertains to Negroes in America. I'll wait right. Go ahead.
I didn't say black boule anything. That's what you said. I said
Oh, I
this.
thought you said Black
No,
Boule.
I
My
said
Well,
bad.
this.
you said an elected official or
Yeah,
government employee, which, by the way, black is definitively defamatory and discriminatory. But I'm
mm-hmm.
asking you again, are you of a mind, and I'm not suggesting you are, but I'm just asking for context. Are you of a mind that white supremacy exists?
Exist. Yes, correct.
Okay, so what does a foundational black American have to do with white supremacy, in your estimation?
I didn't say it had anything to do with it. I just came up here and asked the question.
Well, you're sounding more like you're interrogating, but I'm going to ask you once again. If
No,
white
that's just
supremacy
how.
is a system that exists, for there to be white suggests there must be a black, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Now, are you familiar with the book The Black Tax and Sean Rochester?
Yes, sir.
Black is not a people, it is a condition.
Facts.
It has
Ain't that
been
simple?
not only detailed in this particular book, it has been compiled through federal agencies. I believe in his particular situation, the 2000 census, the 2010 census. He may have even updated with 2020, but the
Right.
fact remains he has detailed chapter and verse from cradle to grave that blackness is a problem and is a condition that debases a people, my way of saying it, the American known as the Negro, who is neither a Negro, colored, or black, but all of those things are used to defame, debase, and dehumanize.
And let's
Now
be
you
clear.
can work with
Let's
that how you choose, my
let's be
young
clear,
brother.
Alabama, and let's be clear. Each of them other terms is also point made is conditions as well. So all the labels are conditions and conditionings that was put on my people. My people endured each and one of those titles and those conditions that they went through. And throughout those, there was magnificent things done throughout each one of those conditions and titles.
Despite the efforts of foreigners, and you cannot even call an African a Negro. But all United States, now you know I've said this before, Bap, and I'm not trying to hem you up. All United States citizens are foreigners. All United States citizens are not American. All non-Americans are committing identity theft. Now, I don't know what your position is, young brother, but if you're here to defend foreign invasion of American soil and the continued defamation, debasement, and dehumanization of Americans, well, you have a problem, at least with me. Maybe no one else, but you have a
Super
problem
want
with me.
the link in the chat, but no, I actually can ask a question. I don't really be giving a fuck. I'm just watching the video, listening, and actions per the
Yeah,
video.
this is more or less for the people that do kind of give a fuck about the conversation and how these foreigners
Right.
impact our community. So it's not like we're slandering; it's more of awareness, and it ain't like it's something that's recently been going on. Has been going on continuously since they came into our communities, and we have a lot of people that protect a lot of Europeans and accept them to coming in our communities and being able to have into our huddles dumb niggas like root words in the chat don't understand economic stability, being able to have some type of economic footing, which ultimately, Zay, Alabama, chat, that ultimately leads into political seating, which we have not seen, nor Alabama have seen, or anyone that you know have seen in their lifetime. This is huge generational strides and effort. And by delineating, meaning all skin folk is kinfolk, understanding diaspora, we got to cancel that. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing now, a part of these conversations. You see what I'm saying? So when we got people that literally come from a Negro, then evolved to a Hebrew, is now a Moor, and they're understanding the fixation of artificial history about the so-called Moors, they're going to do what the Moors do, which is obviously they call them protectors of white people.
They
A
want the
lot of
nuts.
them was units. They was protecting these white people with no nuts, literally castrated.
Yes, sir. I'm just here for the questions. That's all. That way when I hear it again, then I actually understand where people coming from. But I don't know who the fuck. I mean, I heard of Tariq Nasheed before, but whoever the other guy
Nah,
is
and
that he ended up
sometimes
being
when you up here to ask questions, it's gonna be questions asked on you, so we can just get a perspective
good.
of how you think. Because I believe it's important to see how the everyday person speaks. You see what I'm saying?
I'm foundational Aboriginal. All right. Yeah. Aboriginal wouldn't even be a term if it wasn't for me, right, Bab?
Wow. Okay, Bab, did you see what Verlinda said about being an agent? I don't know if she or he was making a joke about being an insurance agent, but did you see what they said about an agent acts in behalf of?
No, I didn't
That
see
is
that.
not slanderous. Go say what, brother?
No, I didn't see that.
Let me scroll back up to where she made that statement. But essentially, we all know agents are middlemen, middlewomen. They act in behalf of something. So by default, if you're not supporting what is the actual American, and there's only one American as defined, even by the foreigners, in the definition of American, they fessed up to being identity thieves. Now applied to the descendants of Europeans. A European will always be from Europe. And all other United States citizens, according to the Naturalization Act of 1790, are quote unquote free white persons up until 1952. Now, until you can explain legally what a white person is, young blood, all white people are alien foreign enemies to the American, known as the Negro. And I yield.
Right. They was the first ward of the state, identified as entering cargo when first entering in Americas. So, by that standards, we know alone. But, just getting into these conversations with some of these foreigners and how they interact with us is quite absurd. So let's get back into, well, no, we ain't got to get necessarily back into the live stream. I think we heard enough of the agent provocateur conversation. Uh, uh,
Did you hear that he's working on Hidden Colors 6, Bap?
I did hear about that, and I heard that he was wanting to reach out to Bap. I did hear that through the grapevine.
You got the invite too? I got the invite too. Jeez, we both gonna be on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna show y'all the email and all that. But yeah, man, he's definitely
Now, whoever this young brother is, now, what is there that, like on the free, now, I don't know who is his, thumbnail artist or whatever. You notice he keeps using nigga, and that nigga is of African, quote unquote, accent, right?
Somebody on this
Which
thumbnail
identify,
right
no, I'm talking about any thumbnail that Tariq uses is constantly talking about you niggas are fill in the blank, right? Lazy, shiftless, complaining about the white man, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But yet and still you ran from your white man onto my doorstep. How does that work, Bap? Isn't that what all Pan-Africans talk about? A white motherfucker brought him up. And that's why I said a European Caucasian on one end and an African Moor is on the other end of that chain. Is this chain on?
We gotta ask ourselves though, brother. It gets deeper. It gets deeper than that though, brother Alabama. Because when we seeing these conversations and I put my thumbnails together like how you see them, I go into these forums, I go into these spaces, whether it's on Clubhouse, whether it's on Twitter space, whether it's on TikTok, and I'm going into their forums, their spaces. And I listen, and they speak so ill about our peoples. And I see a lot of people that still protect and nut hug them, obviously because they don't see the dichotomy in the situation, our relationship, systematic, economically, and politically, which totally impacts us.
Now, if you don't call that agent behavior, what is that?
I don't know what the fuck you call
what is it advocating for when it is to the debasement of the American who's called nigger all over the world in a multi-billion-dollar industry that the nigger don't own or control? Then they come over here being told by United States citizen, watch out for them niggas. Huh? That's a part of the United States State Department's agenda. They have actual flags. There is scripts that have been released and leaked on both sides. Those sagging, Air Jordan wearing, oh no, I'm sorry. What did the ambassador to Israel say, Bap? What's the number one threat to a foreign government's national security? What did that Israeli ambassador say, Bap?
A smart black nigga.
What compels a person to say that, brother, if it's not to defame the American?
He said the only threat to the integrity of this nation and government is an intelligent black man. That's deep. That's deep.
Where does that come from if not an embedded narrative of the Negro is the property of United States citizens?
See,
Isn't
then
that the
look,
narrative that we are the product of African chattel slavery and we give birth to perpetual servants through the Aboriginal woman's womb? Straighten this old nigga about.
and that's impossible to use those two terms. There's so many literature out here that talks about how I think Chief Holiday was getting into some shit last night or the other night I was listening to where he breaking down like nigga, the Aboriginal people here is uncontrollable. They untamed. They do not get up under ordinance rail. They're a heavy rebellion. Even the governor of Florida states this in a letter in the 1700s talking about the Aboriginal peoples.
What did they say about the Seminole Wars, and why did Andrew Jackson nickname himself the Indian Killer Bat?
You tell me.
Now, they refer to it, he did in his own words, as the Negro War of over half a century. Did they sign a treaty? Did they ever relent? Did they surrender? Because you talking to an alligator Alcatraz nigga, okay? Raised near the Everglades. Y'all get the fuck out of here with this stupid ass active agent narrative shit.
Yeah, we peeped the shit already. It ain't like we don't peep the shit, gang. You see what I'm saying? We peeped the shit off the rip. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like when you look at some of the ordinance, some of the documents, like it tell you, bro, it goes into the Indian Negroes and how they was rebellion. Even the governor had to put out acts and ordinance against these people because they were so rowdy. Like you can't even fuck with these people. Matter of fact, it's a crime. Matter of fact, let's pull it up right here on the screen. Let's get into some shit. Now this is a primary record. A lot of niggas don't know what a primary record is.
Damn, Bap. Come on, Kelly Green. Don't tell me that. Don't say it. Say it ain't so. She said Chief Holiday called her Dusty.
It be like that, Kelly. It be like I love you to death, but she be tripping sometimes. That's cuz though. All right, get into this. All right, let's back it up a little bit. Hold on. Tampa Bay. This is from April 18th, 1837, family. It said, "My dear sir, if the citizens of the territory be pertinent, the war may be considered at an end. But any attempt to interfere with the Indian Negroes or to attest any of the chiefs or warriors, either as criminals or debaters, will cause an immediate resort in hostility. The Negroes control their masters, and they have heard of the act of your legislation council. 30 or more of the Negro Indian men were at and near my camp at the Wallacoochee late in March. But the arrival of 2 or 3 citizens Florida said it to be in the search of Negroes caused them to disperse. I doubt whether they will come in again. At all events, the immigration will be delayed a month. I apprehend the consequences of alarm of the Negroes. Most truly yours, His Excellent R.K. Call, Governor of Florida, and this was to Thomas S. Jessups. From Thomas S. Jessups. The Wallacoochee, you see it, man. I ain't gotta explain that shit. Y'all see it. The Wallacoochee, my nigga. I don't know how else to say it. Y'all tell me how to fucking say it.
Don't go coochie on us now. Don't go coochie. Chillicothe, Tallahassee, Tallahatchie, Tattahoochee.
No, I'm just saying though. That's,
Good coochie
Yeah, bro.
tribe.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying y'all don't even know the history of this area, and it got a lot of beautiful Aboriginal women that's naturally indigenous to this area. And
The
uh,
Timakua, the
if I tell you
Yamasee.
the exact area where this is, one of your hit songs that actually uses this one of these little terms that y'all giggling about in one of their most famous songs, and they're from that actual area. That's called Wallakuchi. So, but listen, that's a whole nother historical aspect I bring in on a whole other level. You feel what I'm saying? But listen, the point is that the Negroes in this Florida area, and they run the masters. Damn, why Alabama left when Super came on?
Oh, don't run.
Nah, I don't think he ran, but it kicked him off.
Come on back, Alabama.
He back on. But
Is my mic clear?
yeah, your mic clear. So listen, don't let them tell you that it wasn't no Negro Indians all throughout America, because you hear a lot of these dumb niggas say, "Show me some documents saying there was some black Indian niggas." Man, there's tons of documents. So don't let these dumb niggas run around telling y'all nothing. And if they is telling y'all that it's black Indians, make them dumbass niggas show something. I be
You know
seeing
what, Bap? You're gonna
panels
have to
all
just
day
say,
and not
as
showing shit, Alabama. I be seeing people on these panels talking this shit all day and don't see them showing shit. Every time I've made a claim, Alabama, Zach,
uh-huh.
Super in the chat, have I not showed you the facts of where I've got my claim from?
All the
Throughout this whole
receipts,
live
all the
stream?
receipts.
You have
Come
shown.
Copper
on, man,
color
let's get
grizzly.
this work, man.
But this people who are on the spectrum, you need to say, do you short bus shorties on the spectrum? You need some remediation. What is T.I. song? I'm a mediocre. Maybe you need to pull that up and keep that theme song running for
I would
fools who are
like to hear
mentally challenged. I'm a mediocre, god damn it.
Super's pushback toward what you gotta say, Super.
But yeah, what's up, Superman? How you doing this evening, afternoon? Excuse me.
Peace to
Yeah,
the panel, peace to the
I
chat.
don't even know where the fuck you at. It might
What's
be you
going
right now.
on, man? I
Peace
hear
and blessings.
I'm hearing some contradictions, and I just need some clarity.
On me?
I mean, it was you and Alabama, and I just need y'all to clear up a couple of things.
All right, no problem. Talk to me.
Y'all say the biggest threat to these people is an intelligent nigga. Y'all also said these niggas stop immigration. Explain to me, when did these niggas become weak and taken over and played on?
Well, yeah, that's what was said by I believe who was the Israeli governor or the
No, he seemed to be conflating two different things, Super.
yeah, I
You
think
telling me
so.
you didn't hear the Israeli ambassador? This is the ambassador of the Israeli
Yeah,
government
the Israeli ambassador. Okay.
suggested that black youth in specific in the United States was the number one national security threat to a foreign government. How is that so, my good brother? Explain that to me.
So now, what was your next question? Because I want to make sure I'm not conflating them two, brother. So
We can address that one point, and then we'll go to the other one.
okay, let's do that.
So if a leader of a foreign country recognizes the intelligence of a nigga, but the nigga don't recognize his own intelligence and own power, that's the problem. Because if an intelligent nigga is a threat to the world, why are we not promoting these niggas, increasing their intelligence, instead of telling them they downtrodden, they got a white supremacy against them, and these white people came over here, put them in a system, made them citizens. Ooh, those two things don't match.
Well, that's a good question, but when you look at it from a artificial narrative, you're gonna think, well, the white man came over here and got the most uh 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 worried about people that the government is worried about. No, it was your own people that caused your demise. So within the same sentence, brother, Super, we are our best interest and can be our worst interest. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can be our own our own worst enemy in some cases.
Can we break down just for a
So,
minute? Because,
so if
matter of
we
fact,
go ahead,
basically,
Alabama.
Super, I'm trying to respond only on the facts. Okay. I don't know why a foreign diplomat actually put a target on young black males, other than the narrative is that the image of the young black male is a criminal. Whether you agree or disagree, that's not the issue. The issue is it
No,
is
I
something being
want to ask, like,
broadcasted around the
why is
world.
that a
That's
target?
well,
What is that? What do you mean that he
if
put
a
a target on
foreign
the niggas?
government gets on a world stage, and this was, I believe, at the UN in particular, this agent, because this person is an ambassadorial agent of a foreign government. Just walk with me for a moment, Superman, on the issue of whether or not a certain demographic in this country, particularly black youth, is a threat. If the question of $4 billion going to this foreign government as the number one priority of this Congress, not servicing the same community that produced this young, air quote, black demographic, if they become more aware and politically viable and address organizations like the ADL and APAC, would that be a national security threat to the state of Israel? In your
Well,
estimation?
it'll be a threat to the world because we'll run
Why?
it.
Why? Why would that be so, Superman?
Because we'll run it. He said intelligent black, right?
No,
He
you're
didn't say
asking
just
that
these
now.
niggas
Say,
with
I'm just
guns
address.
on the
No,
street
I'm
with skinny
addressing.
jeans on.
No,
He
but
said
see, Super, I think you're
intelligent
not
black
here.
men.
Hold on, Super. Again, you're conflating two different things. I'm asking you a specific statement being made by a foreign government agent that our youth in this society, which is bankrolling that foreign government, if that particular demographic becomes acutely aware and stresses it must be dealt with, whether it's through the ADL, by the way, who there was a defamation suit by Louis Farrakhan about the same thing I'm discussing now, that is defamatory.
First of all, and a lot of people saying, "Wow,
Let me.
now is black. Black has always been a status of condition placed upon our people."
Yeah,
You gotta
I'm not
understand
going to that lowbrow conversation. I'm talking about this leader of another country recognizing the intelligence that's looming. If these niggas wake the fuck up, they gonna run shit. Fuck the ADL and everybody else. They will not be stopped by the ADL or no one else. He said the biggest threat is an intelligent black nigga.
Yeah, that's
Not
what he said.
not right. So if these niggas start going doing what they gotta do, the world gonna be on. They gotta bow down.
Maybe even not even just the world, just your area. You feel what I'm saying? But
You know what I'm
potentially,
saying? If we take over the government because we started it, this is
right?
our
Then
form of
eventually we could
government,
potentially take
and
over
we
the world.
gonna
Right. I see
and
what
we
you're
don't
saying.
see no benefit of subsidizing these people,
No,
they gonna
no,
starve.
no, no. I'm with you though. I'm with you though, Super. And I think you right there where me and Alabama was getting to, or where we was at in the conversation. So that's why we are delineating, because as niggas ain't like the rest of the quote unquote niggas. And you can't treat us like the rest of the niggas. Literally, a Django quote fits our people perfectly. You see what I'm saying? Because the accomplishments and the things that were talked about and the way other people look at us is not the way other people look at other Negro groups around the world. You see what I'm saying? So delineating, gatekeeping, protecting ourselves while constantly building with each other is only going to lead to greatness. Once again, this is our point of delineating.
Yeah,
Salute
I
that
think
part.
that's
Salute, Super. Salute, Alabama. I just want to ask you brothers one simple question, man. Like when y'all say delineating, Isn't there going to be laws that's going to have to be taken out the way before any of this that can happen? Will we see the theater of Trump doing?
Only laws that need to be in place is laws against talking ill will against the American Aboriginal, aka the Negro, aka the Black.
Yeah, that's called censorship. That goes against the First Amendment.
Well,
Niggas
not
can say and everybody can say what they want to say. This
not
America, Jack.
really, because
But wait a minute. Well, hold on,
hold
Super.
on. They
There's
just
a
passed
$787 million judgment of defamation right now as a precedent.
and
So
guess
no,
what?
you can't just say anything and there's not consequence.
Right, you got
Isn't that what they just said when they was up here?
hold
My fault. My fault.
on.
My fault.
Trying to motherfucking say something. And you can't say shit about homosexuals as far as derogatory. That's a criminal, damn near a criminal offense. As far as a hate crime, you can't say shit about Jewish people in derogatory sense. That's a hate crime. You can't say shit about Asian people, which was recently passed within the last 3 years.
What's the status of that suit? Did they win or did they lose?
It's an act. It's already in effect.
What you mean?
It's been passed by legislation. It's an act.
Can we pull up this act and look at it?
Yeah, hold on.
But wait a minute, Super. You don't remember this was within
You not
less
heard
than
the
3 months of the Biden administration. They passed the Affordable Care Act, which was still under COVID, and put Stop Asian Hate in it. That was in the first month.
Yeah,
That was
Trump
actually
just
one
got
of the
rid of
first pieces
DEI.
of legislation.
Yeah,
Say
but Trump
what?
just got rid of DEI. Identity politics is out. It's illegal. It's against the Constitution.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't comprehend the difference between an identity and a nationality and a race. These are all different things.
Man, none of that trumps the First Amendment. I don't give a fuck what that is, nigga. It can't
Yes, some
go
of it.
against the
Yes,
First
yes,
Amendment.
yes.
Hey, I
Some
just
of
wanted
it
to say,
does
didn't
trump the
they say
First
that and y'all
Amendment.
went against them? That it's slandering, y'all can slander people.
Root, hold on, man. What's the First Amendment, Super? Run it down to us. Break down the 5 elements for us.
We can pull it up and do it for the people in front of everybody so we can get a clear understanding of what's being said. And then we can look at this act and see if it goes against the First Amendment. If it does, it's unconstitutional.
So
and it
now
can't stand in
anti-Semitic,
amendment.
so now anti-Semitic laws is not in void now. Is that what you're telling me?
Goddamn right.
God damn.
That's a goddamn law.
So you obviously have not seen the
Man, if
Department of
y'all ain't gonna
Justice,
go to truth,
but wait a minute,
leave, you
Super.
can
Wait a
say
minute, Super.
whatever you want to. They
Hold on,
got
Super.
porn on fucking. Come on, bro.
Right now, in the Department of Justice, which is under the process of this mass deportation and denaturalization, they are combating anti-Semitism with this mass deportation effort. Surely you know about that, Superman.
But Super is right.
Man,
There's some type of laws that's lax that you
you
allowed to
trying
talk
to
about
move
people
the
right now, but like
goalposts.
two,
Now
3
you
years
going with
ago,
the
bro,
Constitution,
like maybe a year or two ago, you
the
couldn't
supreme
talk about
law of
people
the
like
land.
Super saying, bro.
That's why all these niggas getting fired, because they got hired under identity politics, not because they had merit.
That's all I'm saying. Before we could take over or do anything, we got to understand there's a lot of laws that I don't care how big and bad you is, how smart you is. If you got 1,050 zillion black people going against 2 whites, I just think it's laws that might have to get.
Obviously, you're not listening to part of the solution. You can't get to none of that power shit until you get rid of the shit that's prevent you from economic stability. You're not running
What's
shit.
stopping us, App Power? App Power, what's stopping us?
Foreigners, nigga.
Laws.
No, ain't no fucking laws stop you, nigga. You can go
The
out and get
laws let the foreigners come over here, my brother, and it just got to
See,
stop.
that's what
You
I
know, man.
disagree with. A foreigner stopping a nigga from doing something on his own land. How?
Yeah, because the government highlights and allocates towards foreigners as at the same time they're depriving you. There's no way you can win when somebody else has been allocated. When you're being deprived, it's like being in a race and you got to go up. The key is to go up to the top of the tree, but you are being tied down by motherfucking ropes and shit. There's no way you can win, bro. Absolutely
It's
impossible.
according to the laws. I'm agreeing with both of y'all.
No,
You
no,
and
no.
Ali Bamu. But
When
it's the laws
when
that's in
you
the way.
when you put it to the laws, I agree with you, bro. I ain't even gonna argue with you. I agree.
Man, the laws are made by the people.
That's what I'm
Power to the
saying.
people. Remember the Constitution, the Republic.
All right, so y'all want to get into them? The First Amendments and shit.
Let's walk.
I have a totally different agreement with y'all when y'all say this First Amendment is something that's given to you. Bro, when it says you can organize, that means you can get you a corporation or something, bro. And all that stuff, man. I just don't think you can get out here and gather and just start screaming at motherfuckers. That's a riot. So I think everybody look at that First Amendment a little different than the way I interpret it. Not the grass, man.
Man,
I'm
screaming
glad
is
you ain't the interpreter. I'm glad we got some
right.
smart judges in
Just know that there's different my
in
fault.
the branch to interpret the law.
So you know that there's like
Vap,
15 different
I don't know
interpretations.
why she put that in there. Can you pull that up? What Isness put in the chat, Vap, or are you pulling it up on your end?
I
Bro, you
can't.
know people interpret it different, Super. We don't got to be slander, just people have different
No, no,
interpretations.
no, 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 no. The law is not interpreted different. It's one way of interpretation. There's not, and it's not multiple interpretations on law. That's false.
Are you serious?
Yes, very
Well,
serious.
unfortunately, there is the subject of the individual that's on the bench when you're talking about going to a court, especially with the Supreme Court. We see that being played out. But I don't know exactly what Isness put in there in the chat. Can you pull that up, Vap? I think that's for the Stop Asian Hate, is what she may have posted there.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2025. It's actually in effect right
Stop
now.
Asian hate is a bill. It's not a law. Bills are not
It
laws.
is an
Man,
act of Congress.
y'all been up here
It
talking
is
about
an
Moors for the
act
last
of
hour. Now you niggas
Congress.
turning
Well,
into Moors.
hold
Now you
on.
niggas turning into Moors talking about it ain't law. It's a fucking, come on, man. I digress.
It's not,
So
bro.
hold on.
You have
So an
equal
act.
protection
Now
under
y'all
the
turning into
law
some damn
according to the
Moors.
Hold on,
Constitution,
Super.
brother.
Super. Let me ask you a question. So an act of Congress is not law?
No, it's an act. Once it becomes a law, it got to be passed by 2/3 majority. Come on, man. Y'all got to learn how
That
this
So
republic
act
you
of
works.
telling me the
Congress
13th
was
Amendment,
passed
well, you
into
telling me the
law.
13th Amendment was passed by fucking 2/3 of the majority?
You saying that the Asian hate bill is a
No,
law?
I'm saying that the Constitution has
Hold on,
acts in
brother.
it, bro.
Stop yelling, brother. I'm
You
asking
right, but I'm gonna land my
Alabama.
plane, Super. I'm gonna land my plane to make my point, my brother.
Go ahead,
My fault for yelling.
go ahead, brother.
You
Get your
saying that
point out.
acts ain't law. I'm saying acts is what makes amendments in the Constitution, like the 13th, 14th. You saying that I think you're interpreting it wrong. And I digress.
I appreciate your
There are
comments,
targeting
but I want to
purposes.
ask Alabama: are you saying the Asian hate bill is a law?
I said in the COVID-19 legislation passed within the first month in the Biden administration, Stop Asian Hate was included in that act of Congress, which was passed into law. Now, I don't
You
Why
know
gotta
if
y'all?
that's
show me.
what
You gotta
Isness has
show
put
me
in the
that.
chat.
Why y'all?
Yeah.
Why y'all going a long way around what the fuck a law is? Everybody know what a law is, bro. Oh, my bad. Shout out to the channel, to the panel, and to the chat, bro. Power to the motherfucking people. Hey man, we know what a law is. A law is something that if you transgress it, there's gonna be a penalty, right? It's gonna be a penalty. So if you're hating on Asians, you getting penalized, then yeah, nigga, that's a law. If you're not being penalized, then it's not a motherfucking law. Has anybody been penalized for hating on Asians? I think we can just debunk this shit right then and there. The simple way.
Yeah, Super. You gonna go against that?
Y'all gotta show me when somebody got in trouble for violating the Asian. Cause I say it ain't no law.
Do I gotta show you that somebody getting in trouble, or do I gotta show you that it's an act or a bill in place?
I've
According to
seen
what Smoke just said, you gotta show somebody getting in trouble for doing the shit.
and I've seen plenty of people get arrested for calling a person the N word.
But were they prosecuted? Were they found guilty in a court of law? We're talking about
No,
law.
I get what you're saying, but
Hold on. I don't. Do you know what a bill is as far as an act? When we dealing with an act, super, you know what an act is as far as law?
Yeah. Remember, a bill is just a
No,
bill.
not a
You
bill,
can't
not a
put a hill. Yeah,
not a
it
bill, a
still
act.
gotta go become a law, bro. Come on, man. A
No.
law is a law.
Super. I
hate
said, what is
crimes,
an act? What is an act? Not
laws,
a
and
bill.
policies.
You're speaking a little fast. I said, what is an act as far as law? Go ahead.
I don't
Super.
understand the question, brother. They are two separate things, mutually
I know. We're
exclusive.
talking about an act.
But I thought we was talking about laws, man.
Yes,
Come
but
on, man.
an act is a formal written document that embodies a law created through legislation. So when they say they got an act, it's the actual written document of the law created and processed and passed through legislation. So that's why I'm saying. That's why I was asking you, what is the act? Because it's literally telling you that it's a law. That's why you run around not
No,
knowing what
no,
it is.
brother. It says it's embodied a law. That means this act is based on a law. The law has to be passed. Acts don't create laws, brother.
Yeah,
It
it's a
says
specific
it
piece of
embodies
legislation
the
that passed
law.
by the
That means
legislature
if I come up with an
as part
act,
of
I'm basing it on a law that's already been stamped and approved.
yeah. So an act is trying to get processed through to law, and the law is a law. So the
So my
hate
point in
crime
case.
law
So
laws
my
for
point in
all
Come
case.
on,
races.
bring up this First Amendment so we can see, because that's the supreme law
Yeah,
of the
that's the
land.
supreme.
Everybody has the equal protection. I don't give a fuck if you Asian, black, white. If
Mm-hmm.
you under the jurisdiction of the United States, you have the equal protection. Asians don't get no special protection under the
Right.
Constitution.
So the First Amendment, obviously, the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the freedom of press and
Assemble.
Congress, the freedom to assemble. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Now, if you can say what the hell you want to say, I mean, you can't go into a crowded room and set fire or no shit. Yeah, that's illegal. But you can burn the flag. You can cuss the president. You can say anything you want to outside of your mouth that don't violate someone else's constitutional rights.
All right. So if I say I'm going to fucking kill you, is that illegal? Yes or no?
That's a threat, brother.
It's a threat.
You can't make threats.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you can't say what you want to say. Point in case.
Brother, when they say freedom of speech, that means freedom to express yourself however you want to,
So
not
you
make
can't.
threats, not cause problems, brother. You can
And it
express
also
yourself
says
as you want to.
That's why. That's what I'm
president.
trying to tell you. I just said if I said I want to kill you, that you said that's a threat.
Right. That's not a personal expression.
No. That is a personal expression. If I
No,
said
it's not, bro. That's
if
a
I said
threat.
I'm going
Come
to
on,
kill
bro.
you, you can
All
say I
right.
feel like all you want. Feelings is not
All right,
interpreted
bro.
in
You
law.
got it. You got it.
Feelings is not
He
interpreted.
he he not he technically wrong.
You gotta actively say that you're going to do something in order to
He
be a
not
threat. You gotta say I'm going to kill you. Not I feel like killing you or I want to
technically
kill you.
wrong because even via YouTube, if you use the word "I'm going to," it tells you that it
Yeah, if
goes
you say
against the
going
law.
to, yeah, it's gonna get you.
Yeah,
That's
but
how
it
it's
says
interpreted.
the First Amendment, hate speech can
BAP.
be implied criminalized when it's directly criminal activity against certain groups of people. And
You're just describing what is
So smoke.
hate
Let me ask you
speech.
this:
But in the
Is
but BAP, can you pull up in the chat the actual thing that was passed in Congress in the first 2 months of the Biden administration? Do you see that in the private chat, BAP? That was the Stop Asian Hate legislation.
let me see if I can pull it up in the back.
Y'all niggas gonna fuck around and get to the bottom of something. Y'all sure y'all want to proceed?
We always like getting to the bottom of something, man.
yeah, and it says any derogatory term used against black people is widely considered a part of hate speech. So if
Here,
anybody calls you
look.
the N word, it's considered
That's
hate.
what we want. That's what I just said. That's what the point is. All these other
But
people
is it getting prosecuted, or as this woman just raised $1 million calling a 5-year-old autistic
Hey,
child
break the shit
the
down,
N
Alabama.
word?
It's on the screen. Break the shit down.
It's real small on my phone, but can you see there where what does it say it was passed? You see the title of it? Condemning all forms of anti-Asian sentiment as related to COVID-19, right?
He say it was introduced. Hold on.
Introduced on February 23rd, 2021. And the latest action was in April 28th, 2021. So is this a law, smoke, or what? What is it? Is this considered bound in law? Super, maybe you can help us out, big bro.
Is they calling it a Asian hate bill? Because the title didn't say nothing about the Asian. It said something about COVID-19.
Now, I don't know which one that was about. That
narrative.
And then it does say also on this other thing that I'm reading, using any derogatory term towards black people can get you prosecuted. Verbal abuse, hate crime. I can't see that small screen.
Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back.
Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2025. No, that's something different. Who got the screen?
Me. I don't even know what this is. Somebody told me to pull this up earlier.
This one Alabama had in the back.
No, this ain't. This the other one. This the one that the sister had in the chat.
Oh,
American
okay.
business. But shit, nigga, you can't go around saying shit about Jewish people, nigga. Your ass gonna get fried, my nigga. Well, I don't know though. Kanye West be doing that shit, and don't shit happen to his ass.
Yeah, you technically ain't gonna go to jail for it, but you could lose out on endorsements and deals and
Super,
shit
you
like
might
that.
be right, gang. Kanye West be disrespecting the fuck out of.
Yeah.
And don't shit happen.
Yeah, but he be in disguise though, so
that is true. He keep it his Fourth Amendment,
The
right?
problem with this, because again, it's on my phone, you have to go further down and scroll in it back. This is a House resolution. I'm not going to suggest that it's the actual law, so I'm going to concede your point, Super. But inside the resolution, they show detailed accounts. For example, whereas the use of anti-Asian terminology and rhetoric related to COVID-19, such as the Chinese virus, Wuhan virus, and Kung flu have perpetuated anti-Asian stigma, Now you have to go even further in to look at the actual acts. It says, whereas according to a recent report, there are nearly 3,000 reported cases of anti-Asian discrimination related to COVID-19 between March 19th, 2020, which was when I believe the federal government announced that COVID was in the United States, and December 31st of 2020. So now those 3,000 reported cases of anti-Asian, how many you think has been for the American known as the Negro on a daily basis since COVID? That's 2020, in the last 5 years.
I thought this was an anti-Asian hate bill, brother.
I said House Resolution 151. Can you stop doing stuff like that, man, and actually deal with what I'm talking about, Super?
Oh, okay.
What I am talking about, and I will continue to only talk about, is the American known as the Negro is being defamed, being lynched, being massacred with other terminologies, whether it is FBA, ADOS, pan-goofiness, which tells us or leads us to believe that we are perpetual servants of United States citizens, brother. That's my only message. I don't care about all that other shit.
Oh, so you weren't just saying that they had a special law for Asian?
Super Silencio.
Yeah, I'm always in trouble. I'm a chill. Y'all got it.
No, but you're right though. I mean, because there's plenty of crimes you could look. You could look it up on Google, like different people that's been arrested for saying different things, and the NIGGER word is one of them. So they've been prosecuted for that.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to figure out: is you niggas conceding to the possibility of an Asian hate crime bill or some shit?
They are.
Y'all
They
conceding it? So it don't exist. Ain't no Asian hate crime bill.
No.
That's what y'all saying.
You can call a Chinese restaurant, say ching chong, ching 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 chong ching chong, and nothing will happen to you.
I mean, yeah, you can go in a soul food restaurant and say that ain't nothing gonna happen to you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you can go in a soul food restaurant and use the N word, and your ass will get arrested. Most people ain't calling the cops. That's the part I think people keep forgetting. Not everybody calls the cops because somebody called them a derogatory term. And
So you can't offend a nigga in nigga land. I'm a chill.
Chill out.
I agree with that, man. Put a one in the chat if you say it ain't no Asian hate bill, or put a 2 if you say it is one. I'm not sure. Not sure what's being said.
It gotta be related to COVID. You gotta be like, fuck you Asians.
Yeah, y'all brought COVID here. Y'all brought the Wuhan here. Da, da, da. You get what I'm saying? You're actually implying that they did something, and you would have to prove that in the court of law that they did it.
Right. It's slander.
Yeah, that's why Trump stopped saying that. Trump was the main person that was saying that shit.
You're accusing them of a crime.
There you go.
So it's a crime. So it's against the law to associate Asians with COVID. That's the law.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so what if you accuse niggas of being responsible for COVID? Is it a law for that as well?
Yep. You can't slander. You can't say somebody committed a crime and they didn't. Because to release a Asian into a society, that's warfare.
Yep, they did the same thing with 9/11 when everybody kept saying, "Oh, niggas with turbans is the reason why there's bombs on the plane." And That's a crime.
Okay, so do we have any reports of anybody accusing niggas of COVID and being charged and convicted?
No,
you ain't gonna find none. The only person that was
I don't
doing
think
it
so. I ain't gonna say I don't know. I ain't
Hold on, bro. That sound like y'all making shit up, then, bro.
You
sound like to me.
You got Google in front of you, brother.
So smoke signal.
What you mean,
It hasn't been heard recently or frequently in the last, let's say, since the pandemic. But what does "while black" mean? Any phrase, fill in the blank. Whatever "while black" is that racial profiling? Did that become a thing?
Yeah. That's racial profiling.
What? How is that racial profile?
Because you just can't assume somebody black.
Yeah.
It's racial profiling.
So then
Prejudice and unfair
comparison, but
treatment.
hold on, young brother. I'm trying to actually make a point here. So as an analogy or a metaphor, the comparison is you can't suggest Hong Kung flu, Wuhan virus is attached to anyone who seems to be Asiatic, right?
Well,
Right.
according to y'all, you can't attach it to nobody. So how is it specific to Asians then?
That's what the resolution did from Congress.
I told you that's because Donald Trump went on national TV and made it a thing. So when people started using it against Asian people, that was in protection of the Asian people at that time. But we're
Now
past
you do remember? Do you remember the gentleman that went and attacked those massage parlors? I
hmm
mean, over what hours? Drove hundreds of miles. This was also in the same time frame, right?
Now was that
Okay,
because
but is that specific to Asians or is that specific to
Well,
people
the only
attacking the
people killed were
Let me-
Asian women in those massage parlors.
But I didn't finish the question, brother. You ahead of yourself. Right? It's the question. Is that specific to Asians or is that specific to people who attack massage parlors?
there you go.
So again, then give me something comparative to while black. Now, what are the examples of whatever while black? Fill in the blank.
Driving while black,
Causes
walking
what?
while
Hold on, bro. We take this step by step. Causes what actions to happen?
it causes the authorities to have a heightened awareness to your presence, as if though you may be some type of unsavory character. That's basically the assumption with the
And over
wild black.
time, it has in the zeitgeist, in the language, in the consciousness of the society, it has become the phrase called racial profiling, right?
Of
Could you
course.
give me another example of wild black, like little kids selling lemonade,
Yeah,
a
that's a
college
perfect,
student that will sleep
perfect
on a
example.
couch in her dorm,
Didn't
Another
Tamir get
perfect
killed
example.
while black
the
while
young
holding a
man
toy
eating
gun?
ice cream on his couch, and a cop rolls in there and blasts his ass.
Didn't
Okay,
Tamir
so
Rice
has
get killed for the
anyone
same
been
thing while
has
I'm
black while
sorry.
anyone
holding a toy
been
gun?
has anyone been charged and convicted of a crime
While
concerning racial
Asian,
profiling?
while Asian. This is the do you get the point that I'm making, smoke signal? Actually, we could go on and on. I don't think there's any comparative situation of any ethnic group or demographic in the society that has something along the lines of, as a matter of fact, when is the last, if ever, have you heard Asian on Asian or even white on white crime? Y'all are familiar with those phrases,
Moving the
right?
Asian
goalpost.
on Asian and white crime is just called crime, brother. We already know.
Yeah.
Really? Then why is it black on black?
Because the people who control the propaganda machine likes to paint that narrative.
For
And a lot
what
of you know, a lot
purpose,
of
my
niggas,
good
Construct.
brother?
and a
Now we're
lot of
getting
niggas,
somewhere, Smoke. For what
and
is
a
the
lot, hold on,
purpose of doing
It's,
that,
hold on, bro.
specifically
it's a social
targeting
construct.
Can
Where
we
have you
have
heard?
specifically
can we have
targeting the
can we have
American?
a
Where have you
conversation,
heard
bro?
in court where they said black on black crime?
They don't say black on black crime in
Thank
court. I
you.
just said
It's a
it's part of the
crime. It's
propaganda.
a social
It's part of the
construct.
problem.
You're right.
It's
You're
just
right.
part of it's just part of the propaganda machine. It's not actually uh
And,
legitimate. It's not
and
actually
that
a
brother that got
legitimate
killed while eating ice cream,
infraction.
he wasn't what you call a so-called nigger or American.
Yeah, high rising to all and everyone on the
And I
panel and
said
in the
Tamir
chat.
Rice got killed while black while playing with a
Bless
toy
up,
gun.
mic check. Yeah, so Massachusetts, just to join in into the conversation right quick. Massachusetts, a man was sentenced 18 months in prison for hitting a Vietnamese man and with his car while yelling racial slurs. California, a man sentenced to 43 months in prison sending racial messages to an Asian American. California, man who received 12 months federal prison for driving through a stopped Asian hate rally while yelling racial slurs. 15 years in state for assaulting a Filipino woman. There's things specifically you get
Naughty,
more
those
time.
those
Hold,
fall under
hold on, hold
Get
on,
him,
hold
Zay.
on.
Those fall under
Get it,
hate
Zay.
speech.
I was gonna beat
First
it,
Amendment
but
right.
Hey,
he
what?
came
Hate
up with
speech.
some
So when
bullshit.
you run through a whole black
Come
crowd
on,
that's
bro.
screaming Black Lives Matter or this, that, and the, it's hate speech. There's a difference than you going to an Asian parlor and saying, you chinks, you Chinese people.
No,
You're
no, no,
not
no.
going
What
nowhere
what
for
I'm
that.
saying is there's an anti-Asian act bill where you can't do nothing against the Asians specifically. And
Naughty. Hold on, Naughty. Wait a minute. No, I know
hold
you
on.
already repeated that. Hold on. Let me ask
Wait,
you something
bro. Why
before we
you
get
got
too
to do
far
all
about
this
what you read.
goddamn talking
Bro, you
when I
just
just
read
let
some
somebody
laws. Can
when
we
I just
address it?
heard y'all doing everything you want to say, you can say
Naughty.
until no,
Nah.
Don't let him get it out.
don't
Don't
stop
let him get it
me.
out, and then just
The
remember
fuck
your
is
question.
wrong
Go
with
ahead.
you?
You know this nigga like
I
to
want
build
to
some
address the
bullshit.
laws.
No,
He
I want to
just
say what
the
I want to say.
cases.
Just write down your question, bro, until I'm done.
Okay, you can filibuster, but you still got to come to the
Let
court.
write down your questions until I'm done. Okay.
If I
Have
find out you niggas scared of Asians,
damn.
man, it's gonna be some motherfucking consequences around this
They
son of
scared
a
of
bitch. Go
Asians,
ahead.
man.
Nah, that ain't even the context of the
All
conversation.
right, all right.
Context of the conversation is that we're these people have anti-hate crimes for hate speech against them. We need to have the same thing. Because there's so many other ethnics and race groups that speak ill will on the so-called American Negro. That's the point.
Let me
When
say
the
this
last
right
time
quick,
somebody
App.
caught the cops
Let me
over?
say this,
Go
please.
ahead,
Let me
Naughty.
say
My bad.
this.
My bad. Go ahead, nigga. Go ahead.
You was correctly and absolutely correct. An act is the final process of a law. It is the action of the law. That's after the president signs it, after the Congress and the House passes it, then it becomes an act, and it's the
Brother, that's
action
not
of
what
law.
you was
Hold on,
saying.
shut up,
You was
shut up,
saying
shut up.
something
Let me
else.
finish
No,
saying
I
what
asked
I
you what
want
is
to
an
say.
act. I said we got an official act. You said an act
That's
is
what,
not.
yeah, I want to say what I want to say because the conversation has gone three, four different ways. I wanted to say this on the act, and I want to say this about the Asian hate crimes. There is an actual big act, several acts behind the Asian hate crime. There's an act of 1882 about Asian hate crimes. There's an act in let me see. The other act is in 1892 called the Gary Act. It's about Asian. You have the Scott Act of 1888. You have the Gary Act of 1892. You have a Immigration Act of 1924 that involves the Asians. You have a Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. You have different acts, bro, and this shit is still the law today behind the Asians.
Val, I disagree with having laws against people's speech. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. If a white man get up there talking Ku Klux Klan shit, I'm gonna back his play because he should be able to say what the fuck he want to say. Fuck making
Um,
laws censoring people. That's against the First Amendment, bro.
it's not though, bro.
I'm
The
saying it's
only
all
people,
the way. I'm saying if other people should have it, we should have it. It should be even
Look,
across the board. Is all
but
I'm
look,
saying.
it's not
technically,
like that, Bap.
look,
So the
look,
First
technically
Amendment
it is
applies
against the
to
First Amendment.
the First Amendment applies to you, Bap. You not a citizen. The citizens has to recognize that you have this First Amendment right. A citizen has that same right, but it can be stripped at any time or put a cap on it at any time. When you, the people, always and never can have a cap put on your right, your inalienable right. But the citizen can have a cap, and whoever works and identified under the citizenry can have caps and fucking rules placed behind them. This is where we get in the Constitution confused. People don't understand the Constitution, bro. It's not for out for the people that's not citizens,
Come on,
but the
bro. You
ones
gotta
that's
land your plane, bro.
go
We
ahead, go
eager.
ahead.
We
It's
eager,
landed,
my
nigga.
nigga.
It's landed. It's landed.
Can we go back to them cases that you brought up? Not it.
Acts, not cases. Oh yeah,
No, no,
yeah. We
no.
can go
You
through the
said
cases.
you brought up some
Yeah,
specific cases where people
yeah,
ran
yeah,
over people and killed
yeah,
people.
yeah. What about it?
Can we go back to that?
Yeah.
Your point. What was your point of bringing that up?
My point was that things can happen as being in racial identity against an Asian. You can actually get more time, or if not, an indefinite time behind the Anti-Asian Act. You get more time. You get a definite throw in jail. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's deemed
So was
unlawful.
anybody injured? Was anybody injured in these scenarios?
You have one that no one was injured. Man
Which
just
one was
sent
that?
a California man sentenced to 43 months in prison for sending racial messages to Asian Americans.
That's an injury.
Huh? That's freedom of
That's an
speech. That ain't no
injury,
injury.
brother.
That's freedom of speech.
No, it's not.
It is,
Okay,
nigga. If
man,
I
come on,
text you,
man.
I can say what I want to say. The fuck
Y'all
you
trying to
mean?
dilly dally. Let's get down to the
That's
issue. What's the
this guy.
The
what's the
issue
real?
is the issue that I'm making, Smokey, is somebody was injured. It wasn't just speech.
Sending
Somebody
racist
actually did
I,
messages.
something against somebody.
I get it. I get it. But I'm saying the real issue is what the real issue that's being brought up. The real
Yeah.
issue that's being brought up here today is racism. Is there any is there any suspicion that there is some type of racial hierarchy going on within the damn justice system? Yes or no, niggas?
No.
Okay, then let's say
Yes,
let's
it
see if
is.
we
I'm gonna say
let's see. Hold
yes.
on. Let's see if we can do this by example. Right? Let's see if we can do this by example. Well, if an Asian, or I'm pretty sure an Asian has killed somebody identified as black, right? And I'm pretty sure somebody black who was identified as black has killed somebody identified as Asian, right? Do those particular penalties result in the same magnitude? Yes or no? If you don't know, we may be able to find it, right? Okay. What about when somebody white does something to somebody Asian? Is those penalty uniform across the board, or what? Do we see some discrepancies in the Justice Department? Yes or no, niggas?
But Smoke, check it out. It's always a motive, right? If you're being prosecuted for violating somebody, the motive determines the sentence, guilty or not guilty, right? So these motherfuckers riding around screaming out Asian hate speech and acting on it. So the motive is against this group of people, right? So if you just walking around and, motherfucker Chinese dude cut you off and you cuss him out, call him a chink or whatever, man, that's not no crime.
It is.
Okay, that was a good insert, but it's still a deflection.
What you mean?
My question was, do we see any discrepancies in the Justice Department when it comes to issues of race? That's it. Like
No.
like
I'm gonna
black on
ask you a
black crime,
question.
even whether it's random or whether it's premeditated. Do we see uniform within the penalties across the board? Like if a nigga kill a
No.
nigga randomly, it ain't about nothing but they got into it.
Right. No, that's what I'm
If a
saying.
nigga,
If the
okay, if
Justice
a nigga,
Department, but
right,
it's a money
if a nigga
thing.
kills somebody that's white, if a nigga kills somebody that's white on some random shit that ain't got nothing to do with race or nothing, is it uniform across the board?
No, it's a money thing.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, bro.
It's
That's what I'm
money.
saying. I know the Constitution is a very noble document, but if it's not being applied uniformly, right, or with uniformity, then you just got to say the motherfucker sitting somewhere collecting dust.
There are
No,
over
it is
5,000.
uniform.
There are over
Smoke. It is
5,000
uniform.
known lynchings that have not been prosecuted, and nigger was frequently used during the act. Neither the Emmett Till nor George Floyd anti-lynching has passed, and no anti-lynching bill has ever been passed in the United States Congress.
No.
Now, those are
Yeah,
facts.
because it's unconstitutional, man. Listen,
What's unconstitutional?
the Constitution is uniform. You just got to be smart enough to check it. If you can't check it, then they gonna do what the fuck they want to do to you because you ignorant of the law, and
Well,
that's
well,
no
well. I do,
excuse.
I do
That's
understand what
cool.
Yep.
Super saying.
And
Hold
that
on. Wait a
excuse in
minute. That's
court to
cool.
be ignorant of the
Hold
law.
on.
I
But
do
hold
understand what
on.
Super saying.
Hold on. Because there still denotes some type of racial uh discrepancy, even with that being said. Because y'all, I know y'all ain't saying that all the white people that been getting slaps on the wrist know the full extent of the damn law.
We
Y'all
saying,
saying that all the
I'm
white
saying
people
what Super.
that ever been all the white people that ever got a slap on their wrist was motherfucking knowledgeable of the damn law? Come on, bro.
I'm trying. I'm trying to
Where
say
where
this.
are you getting your
I'm
statistics
trying to
for
say
slaps
this.
on the wrist?
Listen,
Where is
listen
this
to
at?
what Super is saying closely. Super is basically telling you the Constitution is what you belong standing on. For is your law,
Mm-hmm.
not no goddamn statutes, codes, anything. You supposed to be using that against the transgressors or any operator outside of you and your people. You supposed to be using the Constitution against them, as your law. Everything else is obsolete to you. It don't even accumulate to you, period. Because a black law, there's not going to be anti-lynching laws because you don't fall in that category under the Constitution. You outside of the Constitution where you holding it up in their face, they got to respect you through this.
But
And
Nadi,
we're not
let's say I
using that.
agree 100% of your observation and your determination of what Super is suggesting. Are lynch mobs a thing?
Yes.
Do lynch mobs lynch niggas?
Yes.
Have there been prosecutions, and we know the most famous ones? I mean, do I need to go with Emmett Till? You know,
No,
has
sir.
there
No, sir.
been a prosecution of a lynching where nigga is liberally spun around? Now, we have this suggestion of so-called hate speech in the 21st century. How many centuries has that been going on, Natty, unprosecuted?
For 400 years. Okay, let me answer this though. And maybe you'll see it this way if I come this way with it. There hasn't been because under that establishment, there's no one to go and hold claim. We're not really identified under that white lynching establishment for them to put examples of statues and codes to be a representation of the natural
Now,
indigenous
Nadi,
people.
I'm not going to put word. I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, but I thought it interesting. You did suggest there's such a thing as a white lynch mob, which I didn't say. I just asked, is there a lynch mob? But show me where there's a black lynch mob, a bombing
There's
of
not
white
one in.
institutions or
There's not
communities.
one.
But cook, brother, cook. God damn it! I'm tired of this
Shit.
ignorant shit.
Wait a
Hey,
minute.
share
Hold
my
on,
screen real
Alabama.
quick. Hey,
Hold
share
on,
my screen
Alabama.
real quick.
I met a
Share my
professor
screen real
named
quick.
Dr. Obadeli. He was part of a nigga group that was blowing up police stations. Geronimo Pratt, burn banks. What you talking about?
Li- Listen, brother, listen. In law, there is no identification for no black. So whatever you think you're gonna start, you
Where
against
Bab
the
at? Hey,
goddamn
Bab, share
grain
my
off
screen, Bab.
rip. There's nothing to identify you outside of being a nigga in their law, in the United States law, which is gonna be barbaric, a barbarian that needs to be put in a civilized state. Now, if you got the
Now
identity
hold
of
on,
a
now hold on,
white,
Nadi. On that point right there, and I know you're probably familiar with the documentary Exterminate All the Brutes. And what the Doctrine of
yeah,
Discovery agenda, which I say very simply is get the nigga. That's the only agenda worldwide.
get the nigga,
So,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
so what does that lead one to believe? Is that in law or is that in the state of mind of the consciousness of whatever you call a community? And then they are acquitted, are they not, on a recurring basis?
Come on, Smoke, bring it up. My bad, Alabama.
because by the mere standard of
You gotta share
niggerdom,
my screen.
a nigger is not something to be equated
He got an
with
overlay. He got an overlay up.
humanity, or that
Exactly.
humanity has been taken. Well, go ahead, cook then, Naughty, cook on that. God
Exactly. And
damn it.
this is what these most of my brethren and sisters that want to be identified as black or niggers don't understand. In that fucking documentation called the United States, they don't recognize niggers. You're not human. You're not identified. You're not going to have any justice under this umbrella of the United States. So you already set up a document called the Constitution for the motherfuckers up under the United States to identify we the people with these inalienable rights. That's it. But as we going in and trying to identify it and tie it off to the land, the United States to America, it's gonna mix the two in, and no, it's standing for everyone in America.
Now you know
It's a
what? Okay,
citizen.
Nadia, I'm gonna land on this final point because I'm gonna run from stupidity. All right. So in the
Yeah.
Constitution, the only ethnic group identified is the Indian, whether it's a negative affirmation, should not be taxed, or Indian tribal lands with taxes, trades, tariffs, tributes, etc. There is no European, no African, no Asian, no native. Not even the word American is in the
Right?
Constitution. However, the American is known as the copper colored Aboriginal inhabitants of this land, which the Constitution was authored to identify as the Indian who should not be taxed. Now, that actual status has been transferred to United States citizens, which is not in the Constitution either. The word citizen is used, but the definition in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 is to create the rules of naturalization, right, Nadi? And in the Naturalization Act of
Kill him, my
1790, they
papa. Kill him.
defined a United States citizen as a free white person, which is not in the Constitution. So work on that, brother.
Well, Alabama.
They don't
If
understand.
uh, what, so you applying the definition of a citizen from where?
The Naturalization Act of 1790, under the Constitution, granting the Congress how to create rules of naturalization. In that act of Congress, they created the United States citizen as a free white person. Is that correct, Nadi?
Yes.
Hey
Has it been
man,
ever legally defined what a white person is, though?
hey man, can you be white
What?
and be a citizen? Can you be white and be a citizen?
That's what a citizen is. That's predefined.
Can
That's what
you
they
can you be
saying is a
black?
citizen.
Can you be black and be a citizen?
No, there's no definition or identification for black citizen, bro. Black, period. There's no
Brother, it's
identification.
black,
You're not recognized. Oh my
The
it's
God.
black,
second category
it's
of
black.
United States citizen
Hey
in
man, come on, bro.
1870
Hey
in the
bro, hey bro, hey
1870
bro,
Act of
hey
Congress
bro.
is
Hey man,
those of
y'all niggas have the
African
worst.
descent. There are
Y'all
only
niggas have the
two
worst.
categories of United
Hey
States
man,
citizens, Smoke
hey
Signal.
bro, y'all have the worst conversation skills ever, bro. I was in the middle of questioning a nigga, right? And you had to just jump your ass on the podium. Nigga, ain't no collection plate being passed around. Let me get my shit off, bro. I don't need
Get
to be
your shit
talking that
off,
long.
Smoke.
Long-winded ass niggas won't let they nigga get their shit off. Look, bro, on the damn form, it says American Indian, Alaska Native, African American, Black, White, Hispanic, Pacific Islanders. All these categories are categories for U.S. citizens. What the fuck is you niggas talking about, bro?
I don't know, Smoke. And I put 3 links on the back. I could put more, but it's
They say United States citizen.
No, what he is doing, he is using a government document, a so-called form, but the law has identified two categories of United States citizen, which has not
So
been
what's
legally
that law?
defined, a free white person and those of African descent. Those are the
Show us that
only
law.
two acts of Congress identifying a United States citizen who are all foreign aliens.
To read what
Who
racial
are all
discrimination
foreign
against black people.
aliens. Every citizen is telling you, every citizen is a foreign alien. No
Super
matter
pretty
what
much
you're
won this
reading on that
conversation. I know what y'all
application
got
over
going
there,
on.
no matter what you see on that application, and they trying to identify and bring more up under their citizenry, sneaking them in outside of what Congress had already said it is. Yeah, you doing that, but they still fucking foreign citizens, brother.
Super up 100 points. Bap, I
Man,
put three links.
y'all niggas be losing me, bro. I don't even know what the fuck y'all be talking about.
I put 3 links in the back, Super. I mean, Bap, for
They like to run around when that whip come out, smoke.
for
You make
the
them jump.
means of the conversation. People that's been prosecuted and all when it came to white versus black or Asian
Man, let's
versus
just get
black
back to
or
talking
white
about the
woman
tellers, man.
versus
This law
black.
shit ain't going. We can't do the law. This shit too triggering. Get back to the tellers. We all agree the tellers need to go. Let's get back to that. Come on.
Yeah, the tether's got to go.
Yeah, but ignorance of the law is no defense, and these niggas get caught up and talking about this. A
Man,
citizen is a white
the more I
man.
talk law,
Okay,
the
cool.
more I talk law.